Boogie video. I am a criticizer of Boogie fan and his continual downfall. And I love that there's a cottage industry that where there's like quarterly documentary updates about him and Blinky. I had a preview. Like I remembered that you did. I didn't know you did a revision to the Game Dude documentary that I watched last night. I remember the original, and then I said, "Wait, he did a revision," and then I saw you did it to take out those karaoke songs because they were pain in the ass.
Yep.
But just yeah, I don't mean to sound like I'm geeking out, but massive fan of both of you right here.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, the Boogie video was very exhausting just because of how much ground I kept having to cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Boogie. I guess you could say is sort of a legacy cow. I'd almost put him on par with someone like Gorgeous George, but George still has him by about 10 or 20 years. It feels like and it feels like internet time has changed so much. It's like dog years. It's like each month can be a decade, and each year could be a century. And it's like so much happens with him, and yet so much little happens with him. But it feels like it's always too much with him.
Yeah, June, your new Boogie video was one of your best. I never said that before, but it absolutely was.
Thank you, guys. Pelswick, are you fine if I record this and this is all on the record for the video?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, same
and
here.
Also, yeah, okay, perfect. What would you like to be known? Like just Pelswick? Is it okay if I link your channel, like the origin of where who you are?
Yeah, you could just go by Pelswick these days. Like I know Asa said I've had a few other names on the internet. Like I used to go by 1176 and Blackface Kermit, but
yeah, that's what I was thinking. You used to be Blackface Kermit. I remember that channel, so I thought you were gone, but I guess you just changed it to Pelswick.
Yeah, because I don't know. I guess I just added an extra L because I wanted to support John Callahan's Pelswick. It's just it's become one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite tunes. But people still refer to me to BFK. Like I'm friends with some people in the sector, like Godwinson and Perspicacity still call me Blackface Kermit. I'm like, yes, I don't know. It sticks with me, but I go by both, but mainly Pelswick. I usually prefer to raise awareness.
And I don't want to trap you in a lengthy interview because I have a lot of questions. So how much time do you think you have?
I mean, my only worry is I'm okay if this goes for 1 or 2 hours. I can't imagine going on 3, but I did.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, but I'm okay with it because honestly, Blinky, watching your documentary, you covered a shit ton of points and you got it right for the most part. And I think. I think I have some of the I think I have some of the stuff. I don't think it really changes much, but I do have one of the vids you talked about where he's like, "This is a letter to Alana McKenna," where it's a picture of the doc.
Oh, you have that? Thank God.
I do. I have it all because and you know what? Maybe. I mean, if we want to start right off the bat, I just want to come straight up. I think maybe it's time to reveal, and I have to actually log in. I'll send you a screen cap, or maybe I'll share my screen to prove. Several years ago, you talk about GameDudeOfficial a lot. I created the GameDudeOfficial channel, and I ran it with several people for many years.
Oh.
It started initially as a channel to just because it was kind of sick and tiring that Game Dude kept revising a lot of his reviews and reposting just the George Lucas method or the Coppola or the Ridley Scott thing. It was like, oh, I'm just going to tinker, re-edit. And so I just whenever they were new, I freshly uploaded, I'd grab them and throw them on the channel, and then it just sort of grew from there, just playful fun and playful trolling, no ill intent meant towards Game Dude, and he kind of played along with it. Although it got really sad when 2013 rolled around, because then I'm sending messages from Game Dude and you fucking asshole, and what happened? And I'm scrambling to find out what the shit happened. And, and then it got really sad. And I was in a few phone calls with Alex around that time, and he recounted everything. It's dude, get a lawyer. That shit sounds, it's unhinged what he did.
Yeah. Were you the one behind the Sentinel CL incident?
That was my next thought. If I have that's of it. I didn't like how I handled that. It was really because even though, and I know you say in you say in the video that maybe I don't mean to quote you if I am, but yeah, I was the channel was just sort of staying in character as a playful troll.
Yeah.
But That was just a shitty thing. I don't know if I ever got in touch with Sentinel CL, and if I ever happened to cross him, I would say I would apologize profusely for him because that was like really piece of shit. I just made a video egging on. It's like, oh, why did you? I was in video as or in I guess you could argue in character as Game Dude troll emulating Game Dude, and it's just. But at the end of the day, it was like really shitty. I can imagine if like. Even if I didn't do that, it would still be pretty shitty because I still had the videos up, and like those were like 2-3-year-old videos that Alex put up on the about the DVDs, and the guy still sent over his money, and I bet Alex was like, "Oh, free money, where does this come from?" And but thankfully the situation sort of sorted itself out, but still I do still feel I to this day I'll always feel like a piece of shit for that. I feel like I could have handled that better, even and I like I didn't mean any malintent with that, but I just kind of I don't know. It was I guess it was the Wild West, and I thought, why not? Trolling.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get the money, but still, I'll never not feel bad about that. I'll always feel bad about that.
Okay.
It was a shitty thing to do.
Okay.
So
thanks for clearing that up.
You're in control of the game. You said like it was a collaboration, but do you currently have access to the Game Dude official channel?
I do. Yeah, I logged into it last night because I was watching Blinky's video. I'm like, and it's a. I think I log into it like quarterly or bi-yearly, not knowing what like YouTube's going to do because YouTube said like maybe just out of paranoia, but they always say like, oh, we're going to close old channels that aren't active. So I think I log in. I think that was my reason for logging into it every so often to make sure there's movement on the account so Google doesn't delete it.
Oh, so Google with that, they said they were going to close any channels like they have videos on them. So there is really nothing to worry about that. But not only am I talking to Pelswick, but I'm also talking to GameDudeOfficial. Is from my understanding.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I think enough time was passed. Like, and not to say it was an open secret. Like me and my friends, like I knew, Asa knew, Guru Larry knew, and they actually like they would suggest ideas and maybe like send stuff over and like and I had a few buddies who aren't in the scene anymore. Actually, a friend of mine, his name was Irritated Gamer. He also did Irate Gamer parodies back in the day. He did several videos for the channel. And I
remember Irritated Gamer.
Yeah. I haven't talked to him in a while, but last I checked, I'm still friends with him on social media, and he's doing pretty good. He's a musician. He does good stuff. He's keeping busy, doing well for himself. And it was just I don't know. It was a simple time. It was a funner time, and there was no better time for just busting balls and like making fun of people at that time, like like Irate Gamer or Game Dude or even eventually like AVGN come 2011, 2012 because that's when the fatigue for the angry viewer kind of set in, and it's like I mean, Boris is no spring chicken, and he's nothing to write home about. But honestly, it's kind of getting old. Everyone else is kind of getting old. The guys we once loved, are just kind of getting old. Like AVG, they're still good, but it's glitch. He's doing it. I mean, we criticized Boris and Game Dude for doing it, but now James Rolf's doing it. So, what are we even doing anymore?
Yeah, like long exhausted. But I really do appreciate like just the archival of that channel. Like there is so much. Dude, so much.
Yeah, and especially to bring this up because I've few bits about the DMs that were sent that like threatened on the Crown Authority. So those were sent to me because when as Alex a lot of those videos, like Al the Liar, Al the Great, and other, and I think it was the deposition video. It was the deposition video that I re-uploaded that Alex did, and I still have those messages. It was by someone called Caramel Sen, and I think it was like I think it was Alana, because the only thing I really know of Alana, aside from being in like a few calls with Alex, and Alana was like there too. This is like back during the Halcyon days when they were together and they were happy. I'm going off of memory, so like I'm not saying, dude, trust me, bro, but I'm going off of memory. I'm 99% sure Alana did go out to study law, and she may have been paralegal for a time, and I have no reason to believe that it isn't Alana who sent GameDudeOfficial or sent my channel, sent me via GameDudeOfficial. Those like, they take the videos down, and it would have been so easy like to do the same thing I did to Sentinel CL. I felt it would have been justified because I'm just like, I'm just like, what the fuck is this leaf coming here telling me whatnot? But the thing is, I'm like, I don't know if it put the fear of God in me. All I really did, I just privated the video. It's still on the. I think it's still on the channel to this day. If it's not, I just deleted it, and even then, I still have a mirror of it. So I have no reason to believe that isn't Alana or someone on her behalf, or she got someone at I don't know, a law center to send it up, or she just like say, hey, what's a good legal thread, and then she just like sent that to the channel. So,
and I can confirm that Alana is a lawyer now, so that does make sense.
Oh, she is.
Yep.
She is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I know a little bit more about what happened to Alana. I just didn't reveal it in any videos for obvious reasons. I don't want people going out to like harass her.
Yeah, I've always thought that too. I was just did she just with it? So she's like pretty well versed enough to like scare people off and even be a DMCA troll if she wanted to be. But that doesn't seem like a good use of her talents and her time. And I was curious. Like me and Asa a few months back, we were reminiscing about Game Dude, and one time I just typed in Alana's name on YouTube and found out she's a fantasy author in her spare time. Like she has 3 books published on Amazon. They got decent reviews, and I didn't know if like she was just an author and she just fell back on the legal thing, just in case, or just dabbled in so she could reactivate it whenever she wants. But I guess that's honestly good for her. I guess she's she's a lawyer and author.
Yep,
sometimes
she's married now. She's I think she has her own publishing company too. So
dude,
she's doing really well for herself.
Good life, good honor. Good honor.
It really is, yeah. So the way I want to format this, I guess this conversation is I want to go through like the timeline of Game Dude, right? Because there is pretty much nothing reliable to really go on, considering how much he raised his own history. So we're gonna like start in 2008, and then like whenever you know him, and then eventually work our way up to the later insanity. It is,
Sure, sounds good. And I went through like I've had a Game Dude folder for a better part of 10, 11, or 12 years. So this weekend I spent time taking it and it had a lot of duplicates of stuff in it, which honestly was fine by me because I think even back then adding so much to it, I'm just like, oh, I'll sort it out later. And I guess this weekend was the time when I sorted it all out. And so I could upload the folder. I could throw it on GoFile or something. It's about 7 point something. It's almost 8 gigabytes. But what I did is I went through every file and I checked the properties to see date modified, and whatever month and year those were in, I just allocated that to a year. So it may still be cumbersome and clustery, but like those videos were posted that year. And if there's it kind of say Blinky, you probably have the most definitive timeline. Like when at the beginning of your video, when I do remember that you've seen Irate Gamer, you've seen AVGN, now see Game Dude, and he would plug that not only on other people's videos, but he would plug that on forums as well. And that was sort of YouTube actually encouraged people. YouTube back then says promote your work as a creator, go out places, maybe put it on other places. It's like going out on it if you're going out and you're wearing boards and you're flipping over you're flipping over signs like come see Game Dude and this is my web zone right here. He would actually go to that was an annoying thing. I remember back then. I understand what YouTube was going for, but it was kind of a little naive to say let's just go out, promote yourself on other sites. And I don't think they realized how annoying that would get. Absolutely. And and then I saw that screen cap, that's something I don't even have. I remember he used to do that, but I forgot that he actually went to actual forums and he would share. The only other forums I remember him going to, of course, was the TLC Tugger forum, but that didn't come till sometime later. Pardon me.
So when did you become aware of Game Dude? If you can make maybe a year, a month, any time
Well, I think it was because I remember 2007, 2008 was I guess was the point I remember for when AVGN would come onto the scene and Irate Gamer would come on. Basically what I would call generation 1 of all the YouTube video game reviewers. You didn't only have AVGN, you had Rmake21, you had Urinating Tree, you had Abito, you had Play It Bogard, you had people like Silent Rob, the Awesome Archfiend. And it was sort of a melting pot, and it sort of grew from there. It was just all experimental, and just how YouTube it kind of was YouTube was an online version, I guess you could say, of a cable access channel or public access channel. It was almost like how I want to say Weird Al Yankovic. It almost has a Weird Al Yankovic UHV, humble beginnings. And how people were experimenting. Oh, well, and also Mark from Classic Game Room. Shout outs to Mark. And of course, like everyone loved the angry reviewer thing because maybe like game reviewing back then was okay. You had some good ones, you had some bad ones, and you had some people who just didn't know what the heck you could do. And you had like people like Greg Gustasian like talking about Ikaruga, like it was the greatest. It was the greatest gift to gaming because he'd never played stuff like that before. And then you had this other side. You had the user generated content going. So I remember it was Game Dude rolled around probably. I want to say I'm going off of memory here. 2009, 2010 ish. Probably I think 2009. At least that's what I've compiled in my would-be dossier or timeline folder. 2009 as early as when he started.
Oh no, he started in that's well.
I believe it was 2008 because the Digipress forum, it says 2008, and he says, I've been making videos for a few months. So I think it was around summer 2008.
Yeah. I stand corrected. Yeah, because for me, like, it's like going through and assembling this folder and putting stuff, like some years just kind of like blur and kind of blur together, regardless of when year. But around 2008, and of course the stuff like the Irate Gator and the Irate Gamer hate bandwagon was in full swing. So I guess a lot of people thought like, oh, what's worse than the Irate Gamer? And it seems like Alex unintentionally stepped up. It's like, like hold my beer, Mario. I'm going to show them whatnot. Look out, world, here I come. And so Alex pops onto the scene. He's like, with a selling point. You've seen these guys, now see me. And it was just, I mean, everyone says like, oh, he's at this point a blend of seriously, and if anyone took it seriously, the outrage and reaction with that was kind of entertaining because you could only get like pissed off at so much for so long. And here comes this guy, and he's like, just or more or less a carbon copy or parody. I don't know. I feel like looking back, I don't know if Alex was intentionally doing a wink wink, but who knows? I think it was the jumping off point. It was sort of a jumping off point that he didn't really, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. And I guess maybe for like 1 year or if like your first months, if you want to like use someone else as a jumping off point, if you're emulating it a bit, but at least grow it a bit. I think, Happy Video Game Nerd did that for a time. At first it was like sort of like a tribute, sort of soft parody to AVGN, but then he branched out and he just like, he kind of hunkered down and found his own style. Whereas Game Dude was just doing it for, he was just doing it to have fun and doing it just for himself. And he was in a film school program at Vancouver Film School for a time. And I do have a story about that. I can't find the original one anymore, but I do have the reason to explain why it says it's from Vancouver Film School. So, let me consult my folder. Apologies.
I was going to ask, are you the person who got that message from the VFS attendant?
I was, but it wasn't VFS. It was sent to me by someone. I can't find the original anymore. I don't know where I put it, but I think his name was like Ozail74 or something. It had no avatar. Someone claiming to be in his film class, and at this time, Alex was doing commentaries on people. He would either do or he would do the text commentaries way later. But at that time he did something called the Logic Boy commentaries. Like he did did like commentary replies to me. So someone sent me a DM with that exact message saying, yeah, like the program's this is like prepare you for industry jobs. And like he's got some good compositing skills and he's good with green screen. And I'll give him that, even though these days his videos are like there's a blur effect to them because they're so damn old. And he was like it seemed like he was recording on a potato at the time, which was the like the effect is still really good. But all he was doing was wasting it on all these video game reviews. So what I did is I went to so I asked Irritated Gamer, can you Photoshop the guy's name out and put in Vancouver? That's why that says Vancouver Film School. It's ultimately proved that because, and I told him, I sent he sent like, oh, the Ozail 749 sent it to you, and that's kind of where I guess that's kind of where that correspondence on the subject ended. But it even if it is a fake, it's not a bad fake. It's pretty good. Because when he would do the Logic Boy commentaries, he was either doing that at his house or wherever he was live on his computer, which I don't think he was, because I think he did it all in the media lab or in the studio at Vancouver Film School. Because during one of the commentaries, someone walked in, and then like you could see him, like, you know, he's holding he's in crude fashion, old school fashion, in the way of Kino Dogme 2007. He's holding it to the computer monitor, and then someone just, oh yeah, I'm just recording. You know, like someone came in the room, so it's clear he definitely was in the program.
So he was filming those commentaries at the school?
I think that's my only that or at a computer lab at the library, if I had to guess, because I don't know because if I had, or maybe his apartment where he had like a and that was one of his roommates. I think he was in the computer lab.
So to summarize, you knew him you heard of him around 2009, and you really set him apart because of his aggressive advertising, right?
Yeah, it was hard to find it. Like it was all over the place. It seemed like YouTube was really smaller back then. It's such a huge like expanded universe scape now, but yeah, it was everywhere, and everyone was getting in on it because you know, Alex rolls up with the Game Dude, and everyone collectively, I think, went, "Oh Lord, another one! Dear God," you know, like, right. And yeah,
and the whole film school. So what I understand is he went to 2 different courses, I guess, like, you know, expanded courses. First was at film school you're talking about with the computer lab, and then there was an acting school, if I'm correct.
I think they were both VFS. It was the digital design and then the acting programs. They're both one-year programs.
So he jumped from one program to the other, if that's correct.
I think so. Yeah, if he jumped from one to the other, or maybe he was taking them at the same time. I don't know too much. If I had to guess.
Yeah. So my source for that is like do you know about, like, have you scoured the DigiPress, his excessive advertising there?
I haven't. No, I forgot about that one. Honestly, I don't know if I don't think I knew that existed. So like there was like back then, I don't think very few people thought to look out, or at least I didn't think to look outside of YouTube that much for Alexander 4, or just to Google Alexander 4488 into YouTube and to see what would come up. And the first thing that comes up was the foreskin restoration forum.
Oh, right, yeah.
But beyond that, and that wasn't until maybe a year or two later.
But yeah, so on that forum, whenever he stated that he was going to start a 16-month film scope program, and we're going to get into this later in the Game Deals interview, like in 2009, about like 10 months into the set program, he says he was going to start an acting school program. So that's like where I separate like his weird, like he had like a lot of, like, I guess, experimental videos, and that's where I separate the one where he gets attacked by some kind of orb and falls to the ground to maybe like one where he starts recording birds and just like gets into more, I guess, live action things.
Yeah, every now and then he would post something from what looked like his acting course or a project that he was doing for class. Yeah, like he gets hit by the orb and he sees like a 2-dimensional bush or tree in like real space, and he's just like he's going insane. He's running from it, and and there's the thing with the snow globe with, I think he was just like. Yeah.
Oh, the UV light one. Yeah.
That's the one.
I remember you clipped that a bunch on GameDudeOfficial. It was really funny.
I clipped it a ton of times. I think there was one where Alex is like looking at something and it's just porn, or it's just cropped porn. He's like, no, and then he runs away from it.
So if you remember early on, like, do you remember like what like videos became memes back then? Because I know there was like the Donkey Kong face where with like the bongos. I know that was one. I know there was the whole Diddy Kong like bothering Mario. Do you remember any like other instances where people, like, I guess, make fun of Game Dude early on?
I do remember. I mean, I of course the bothering Mario. I guess he likes super bulky balls, and of course like the sheep meme. That was like a big one. Like I guess that was posted on his Dramatica page, and that just because like, oh, he's smart. People had a fascination making sheep jokes, and the thing is, he wasn't even like British or anything. I don't know where that came from. Horses and sheep and Sheplins, But the horse one, at least off the top of my head, that's the only other one I could think of.
Right, and I remember like there's so much about Alex to go through. Man, his existence online is almost like mythical, because even like the dinosaur video, I would not have believed if you didn't archive it. It's just so insane.
Yeah, I to this day, I remember that came out the same week I saw Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I think I left a comment on the mirror that I uploaded. It was like, I said something like, for reference, I got home from Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was 2.5 hours. It was just a meh in itself. Like had I known this video was up, I would not have gone to the theater. I just would have stayed and watched this instead.
It is more entertaining than Amazing Spider-Man 2.
It really is.
And you must have gotten into like contact with Alex through Skype or some other ways, if I'm correct.
I do have a few calls here and there that I'm still looking for. And what I remember, I would I think it was like as early as what I could remember off the top of my head. In some of those calls, there would be me and a few other people, a few friends, and Game Dude, and like there was one like me and another buddy of mine at like 4:30 in the morning, and I don't know, I guess we were burning the midnight oil, or it was just we were night owls, and then and we were like Alex, I don't know, like we were trying to get back to sleep, but like I don't know if you like, because you live in like weird backwards time on the West Coast, but over here it's like we adhere to real hours, but I guess it was midnight where he was, and he was talking about he wasn't having problems with Alana as much back then. I remember something where their relationship is just like, they're like, oh, there's just like, you couldn't think of a more casual couple. But I think as we were going to see in a few years down the line, they didn't really know how to communicate, especially more. And he was talking about how we went to the swimming pool, and I think we were just like, I didn't want to go in the water, like, even though like wouldn't have met, because even though I was wearing my denim shorts and stuff, but I didn't want to get my clothes wet. And it was just like, these were the couple grievances, or just the first world problem he had to deal with. I mean, like that guy had a
Before we get into the Alana, I want to go for like the 2009 and close that out. So you're talking about like you talked to like Skype first, how did you even like get his information? Like how did you even start speaking to him? Like was he aggressive? Because I know you came more off as like initially as a troll, right? So how did you guys form that relationship?
I mean, I may have came off as a troll, but I don't think I really hated him. I think it was like sort of I think for everyone, most people, it was just like, oh God, I hate this guy. But the thing is, like, it's like, well, why do you still watch him? It's almost like the Howard Stern effect. Okay, but why do you still? It's like, I guess to see what he'll do next. It's a constant cycle. He does something, and then you forget about it, and then he goes away. Maybe like he comes back shortly, or maybe later rather than sooner. But he wound up giving up his Skype to a few people. I think he just wanted to be talked to people. And I remember, and it's like 2010, 2011, or maybe earlier, where a few years earlier, he just gave his Skype out. And he was cool that he was down to chat with anyone. He was always seeking advice and just to chill and talk and shoot the breeze. Whether or not he actually took any advice is anyone's guess. But I guess, from what we see, not really. And actually, I don't know. Like, there's another big, if true, like it could be fake. I was going through my folders last night, and I found something when I think I was browsing the TV board on 4chan, and I think it was from reviewers, and there was someone posted a picture of Game Dude, and someone said, "Here, actually, let me post it." I think I just found it. I was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna look like a fucking jerk off if I have to say I'm going off of memory again," but. This could be true or it may not be true. Someone claims to have known him in high school, and basically in that cap, like sis says, I went to the same school as this guy. He was a Jehovah's Witness and nobody wanted to hang out with him. There were the two most noteworthy aspects about him. He always talked in a loud robotic tone, had crazy eyes, and moved around like Kramer from Seinfeld. He fought a manlet in the 5th grade and lost. I remember that much. They were both on the wrestling team.
Wow.
Yeah, whether there's any truth to that, like it's again like the guy who messaged me or sent me that DM from Vancouver Film School. If that's fake information, you know what, it could be real to me. Or if there were a Lifetime original narrative nonfiction account of events about Game Dude's life, I'd believe, just didn't happen, but it did happen. You know, like doesn't encapsulate one specific incident, but it's a myriad and like the summation of like a relationship between two people. So you know, it's real without being actually happened. It's symbolic metaphor of it.
There's so much information that is pretty much impossible to verify because Alex is just not present on. But so you started talking to him around 2010, 9, somewhere around there, because he was just freely giving out his Skype, and you just decided to call one day. Do you remember how that initial call was with him?
Yeah, it was very cordial. We were just sitting around shooting the shit, and it wasn't like, you know, ragging on him. I remember it being just very cordial and very chill. You know, he was ridiculously nice. He was like you couldn't, yeah, it was just a very gentle soul. Like, and I think I want to say he knew it. He was getting, like, he could roll with the best of them. I mean, I think he had seen about as much as everyone else had seen who had watched AVGN or like the Generation 1 YouTube video game reviewer scene. So, like, you know, he had like seen an experience. He was watching experience them all, like taking them all in. Like, he drew everything from AVGN, of course, and like just sort of, I guess, spoof, parody, nerd-spired, of course.
Nerd-spired, right? Yeah,
nerd-spired. But like AVGN was the main one. But he back in those days, I wouldn't say he was unreasonable. Maybe there were definitely times when he's like, I think maybe like the occasional comment here, there's like, oh dude, fuck you. You're just like, you know, he, like, every once in a while, I think you would be able to catch a comment from him. He was like, dude, fuck you. It's like, oh God, just, you know.
Where he was going off the rails a bit, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, like sometimes he would just break character. Like if he was getting trolled, he'd be like, "Oh, I guess I am a plagiarist, ha ha ha," and then he would just break character like, it was just like, even to him, he would go, "Oh, some days this stuff is just annoying," you know. He had to, he couldn't keep up he couldn't stay in character all the time.
No. I also noticed, like, on the topic of inspirations, there's also the Irate gamer, and I saw that relationship over the course of like maybe 3 years quickly deteriorate, right? So in 2009, he seemed to be like a fan of Chris Boers, right?
Yeah, I think he was. Everyone was definitely aware of Chris Boers and kind of bitter. I do remember, for as much as like AVGN was like super popular, he didn't completely get his, like, you know, real due until 2012, 2013. At least because not to like sidetrack a little bit, but James Rolf, he still had like a deal with Screw Attack, and he was on Game Trip when they were assigned. People irate because he was like the most popular gamer on YouTube, and everyone just did, like, a lot of Gen 1s did not like him because the fact that it's like, this guy's just kind of sort of simple, kind of goofy, but in a way that's sort of his charm. It's sort of kitschy in a way, and of course, and today's a different scene. But yeah, like, Alex was definitely aware of Irate. Everyone was, and I think he started. Yeah, like I think he started he took in a fair share of Irate gamer, and a few times, like, I guess he would maybe troll people. Like, I think I have an annotation somewhere. Let me see if I can find it, where he says, like, I guess I'm an Irate gamer ripoff now. I mean, this guy was like so flexible.
I remember that one. Yeah, you posted that on one of the GameDudeOfficial things.
Where is it? 2012. Where the hell is it? Or maybe it's 2009. Oh, here we go. Okay, I think it was.
Yeah, I was like, I now call this channel an Irate gamer parody. Now you can't complain about it, or something like that.
Yeah, that's it. That's. Guess you can't complain now, huh?
I can't recall, but did you upload the Facebook conversation that he had with Chris Boers?
I think I did. I do. I was looking through the videos last night, and they were and I think they were on private. I think I have that here. If it's which one? Okay, it would have been
2010, I think.
2010. All right, let's see. 2010. Oh, there's so much in the 2010 folder.
Yeah, but so, from my understanding, like, just looking at how it progressed, he seemed to be like kind of a fan of the Irate gamer, and then like something happened, and then like he's just like, oh man, the Irate gamer's the worst. He's such a piece of shit, and he hated him over the course of like the.
He did, yeah. He really. I don't know what happened, and I should note for the record that Facebook, it might have been a fake because I did have a friend who ran a fake Chris Boers Facebook. That's back when on Facebook you could run it. It's the same Facebook that when Justin Carmichael took his own life. He said on the Facebook account, he says, like, I didn't know him too well, but I was aware of his work. And, you know, it's like, I don't know about him taking his own life because, like, I'm very spiritual, and there's like there's something against taking your life before, like, you know, your maker calls something like your maker calls you home to heaven or something like that.
Oh, that wasn't actually Irate Gamer?
That wasn't. No, it was a friend of mine. His name was Bjarni. He
okay.
I forgot his name. He also made videos too. He was based out of Europe. He also worked for Troma for a little bit, for a few years, and it was fun. And I forget what he did. Like at one point, he said something that apparently like made it like the would be Irate Gamer Facebook group or his followers or people that friended him just like it pissed him it pissed them off and made him. Like made them think like, oh, this guy has to be a fake because Chris Boers would never say. It's like, who's to say? Who the hell's to say?
So really uncertain if that was the real Chris Boers.
I think I knew. I think I knew in 2010. I don't know now. I forgot. Let's see, Chris Boers. Not to stir the trolls. I don't know. It's up in the air. I can't tell from the. I think I remember because the fake Chris Boers that my friend ran, it had that picture of it had an avatar of Chris Boers where he's like sitting like with crossed legs with games around him like croaking like but the avatar for in the video like I talked to Chris Boers OMFG watch this that avatar doesn't I can't really see it clearly because Game Dude and diminished that.
Something else about that video is like for the first 2 minutes, it's just a repeat audio of him. I think it's him saying Chris Boers. Was that in the original? Where he's like Boers and Boers and Boers.
Oh yeah, Zapata. Yeah, like that's in my video too. I don't know why he did that, but
that was all him.
Yeah, I thought that was something that GameDudeOfficial made, but he actually put that in his video.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
On the topic of like fake accounts. I personally, I don't have strong evidence, but I personally do believe that Twitter is his. Do you know, like, that Game Dude Twitter that I'm talking about?
The Alexander 4488?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a hard one to say. It could be, or I'm not sure, or it could be a troll account. I'm not sure, or it could be in one where they capitalized an I, so it's really Alexander 248, which a lot of people used to do on YouTube for like to make phony like username accounts to make it look like people were responding to stuff like for like if people wanted to post as Irate Gamer, they would say the L like capital or like lowercase L Rate Gamer to make it look like it was an uppercase I or no uppercase I and. I don't know that's when I can't really I don't know I never thought to because this was around like this was Twitter was starting to take off but I don't think like too many people like people were like it was in its infancy still it was barely out of its cradle and out of its diapers when that happened so I can't speak to Twitter stuff mostly so
I'll tell you what I think might make it like not his it's so three major things right it's that image. It's that image of him in the Donkey Kong video where he looks strange, right? He does, and I remember he had a conversation Aciliary, right? And he was telling him how much he hated that face. So it seems maybe unlikely he could have been like maybe tongue-in-cheek about it and actually posted that face. Another element was the parents' rec room, which just seems like insulting. Like, hey, like it's like mom's basement kind of thing, right? Like the location was parents' rec room on his Twitter.
It is technically true, though. Like I said, it is. He was making videos out of his parents' rec room, but yeah, it is kind of a weird thing to advertise.
It does seem like a bit. Yeah, the last thing was it was made in December of 2009, and that was maybe a few months after like trolls started getting in on like trolling him. That's because a lot of the trolls and not like they started coming in mid 2009, so that also seems like someone could have made that account.
It's possible. It's very possible because, that's 2009. And while Twitter was around back then, they hadn't. I think that was the same year they got the boost. I guess My Twitter history might be off, but they got a huge boost or a huge pivot after I want to say a South by Southwest presentation, and that's when it was yeah, it was still relatively unknown, but yeah, they were around back then. So it could have been a troll, it could have been him, who knows?
Right? Yeah, it's really hard because early 2009, it's easier to like verify what's real and what's not, but like with the whole Chris Boers and the Facebook, it gets a lot harder to find out what is and isn't like real, I guess. But it really helps that you guys are here to verify this, though. So for the theme songs, it was the first version of his theme songs was like he is the game cat, right? And then it became the slower like 70s theme one where it's wondering like what order of theme songs came out.
Like the first one, Game Dude like played on a band. The truncated one that was more like synthesized and like electronic, right, to my knowledge.
Those were go ahead.
No, I was just saying from what I can remember. Yeah, the he's a dude on a mission. Yeah. That's the I think that was the second one.
And those were the only two ones, if I'm correct.
To my knowledge, yeah, I can't recall him doing a third one.
Did that cat ever like play any significant role? The one with the banjo, besides being in the music video?
I think it was just there. I think he just commissioned someone, or maybe he did it himself. Or if I had to guess, I'm sorry, I find myself saying that long. If I had to guess,
no, it's perfect.
That's something I do a lot too.
That's fine. That's completely fine because Game Dude is so mysterious. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Something I can say about the theme song is I have found the LinkedIn for the guy who did the first theme song. His name was Alan Wong Moon, and I'll post that. If you have a LinkedIn, you could maybe get in contact with him. That. Yeah.
Yeah, that name rings a bell. I definitely.
So, yeah, still in 2009. Wow, there's just so much to cover. Like, because, like, the early Alexander was just setting up, like, who he was going to be later because he just was not really changing in the kind of person he was. Like, a big example of that would be the re-uploads, right? And Ian, I remember in your video, you talked about how people, like, hated that. They were just upset that he kept uploading new versions of videos.
Yeah, like, literally every time he would upload one, he would get criticized, like, multiple times from multiple people in the comments. And just, he would never stop listening. He just kept posting it over and over and over again. It was crazy.
And
that was part of the inspiration for the GameDudeOfficial channel. Right.
That was my impetus for creating it. I just as a gag. That was me wanting to get in on, I guess, like the gold rush, the troll gold rush. So I yanked whatever on his channel at the time, which I think are probably like the closest to the originals. I went through my folder last night, which had not as many duplicates as I thought there were. There's a separate folder within the folder of all his reviews, and there's like one with. I had a revision folder with like 3 different variants in it, I think, for Sonic Riders. And Blinky, when I was going through your video, I'm like, I forgot about like the whole thing of the Brawl video. I'm like, oh, that's right. He did, and then he Smash Kart or Mario review, and he just like bunches them all together. I'm like, Alex, that's not good. I know what you're trying to do. Just and then there was one. I forget which video it was. There was one that was like 4.5, maybe 5 minutes long, and then the edited version of that, or at least the one that I got, was like 1.5 minutes long. Like, trimming it, like, what's that gonna do? And then there's the ones where he would trim them down, re-upload them, and re-record stuff for it. It's like this guy. I mean, even George Lucas would tell him, "Dude, dial it the hell back." I think you're just. I think you're. I don't think you're even burning the fucking land.
Yeah, there's more cuts of every single Game Dude review than there is of Blade Runner.
So, do you remember like the community reaction, like the comments? I know Ian was talking about how they were mass downvoted to discourage that, but he kept on doing it anyways. So, how was everyone reacting to the continuous re-uploads? If you remember, like any specific cases.
It's hard to remember specifically. I only like my general impression, which I think everyone's general impression was, it's like this guy just doesn't. This guy's just doing it. It's like, oh, do right or perfecting it. For a guy who's like using his jumping off point as AVGN and being nerd-spired and a parody. He just this is never a guy that was gonna get it right. I mean, it just just make the best you can and then be fine with it, And I think his genuine fans are like, this is just, any genuine fans that he had were probably just annoyed. And of course I was a fan by way of for the spectacle of it. It's like, what it makes no excuses for what he was and what he was doing. And so and that was part of the fun, I guess. I would just, I would rip any new video as soon as he had it and put it on the channel. And I think I can't find them anymore. But I do remember Alex asking, I can't put enough quotes around think. Don't quote, but where he probably asked me a few times, hey, do you have the original of this and that? And I can't help but think that maybe I just said just go pluck it off the channel. That's when I ripped it. And when you uploaded it, or I don't know, maybe I was in character mode. I'm like, yes, but I won't give it to you. It's media. I'm hoarding it, putting it in a vault or something I don't know. But even then, it's a bit hazy. If I had to imagine, it's just, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I think it was starting to wear thin on people. And I think there were weeks on end or months on end sometimes where he would disappear, come back. Maybe he was doing real life. So as well as we would later find out, yeah, there was real life stuff, and he would, I guess, take breaks, and he probably maybe at one point, I can't really determine the gaps in uploading or remember specifically, but yeah, he would be gone for maybe weeks, months on end, and then he would come back, and you think he would learn stuff oh no, maybe he was off kayaking, focusing on his studies or working. I do know his dad was a pharmacist who worked at No Frills, and he worked there, I think, time, and then I think he worked for a time. I remember me in 2013 in a call when he told me and a bunch of people about what had happened, the Alana stuff, and we asked and it might have been 2010, 2011, 2012, because we asked about construction. It's I'm not really doing that anymore, that was just a thing, work same day, get paid same day, and yeah, it's hard to pinpoint his offline time.
Okay, so his dad was a therapist, or he worked at No Frills?
A pharmacist.
Pharmacist, yeah. I don't know why I said therapist, but because I got a few comments being oh, I saw videos of Alexander's dad being this crazy homeless guy. I'm I think that was a troll thing that GameDudeOfficial made, but
yeah. About that, I'm glad you brought that up. Around, just looking around, I don't know how I found this guy, but there's a channel on YouTube called Ted is, and the story is actually really kind of next to the Sentinel CL stuff. I kind of wish maybe just hindsight is 2020, and maybe at the time I was just in character. And Ted has actually got in contact with me and then asked me stop mirroring his. I think he had some mental issues going on. He would record videos of him from a library. It's he was very religious, but I think he didn't have all his faculties. He's and for them and everything to try and nuke Ted. And Ted has been nuked. So he would be doing videos from libraries, or it looked like he was in, I want to say, a rented storage facility, but they weren't storage containers because they actually looked they had better insulated walls, and there was no reverberation and echo. And there was also times, I guess, he was out and about, and he was confronted by police because he was loitering on property, and the police were nice to him, but he was no, I've stayed my and what made it even more sadder is he would upload videos from, I guess, his wedding day, which had to predate the YouTube channel by about 10, maybe 15, 20 years. And just right away, I was able to put together just the story in my head, he's probably not married anymore. He's probably homeless half the time. And oh God, it makes my heart sink thinking about it. So I uploaded a few videos. And I love when you brought that up in the documentary. It's that wouldn't make sense because it's I'm American. It's well, I don't know if GameDudeOfficial, if he was still character day, it's what are you talking about? Canada is in North America. Do you not know geography or something like that? But,
fair point.
And he's police are harassing my dad, and I gave him the name Albert Nagelbatter. I don't know where I got that from, but Yeah, but I think some of his stuff is still online. I remember I mirrored some of Ted's videos, but it is like a soul crushing, depressing story. There's no real narrative to it apart from the one I just like sort of put together, connecting just being that like this homeless and in a bad way, and he's seen better days, and he might be off his medication, and I don't know where he is now. I hope he's not in a bad place. I hope he's okay. That's another thing. Yeah, it's just like the Sentinel CL thing. That's God. When running that channel, that's something that hurts to think about. I'm like, oh, okay. Like, what the fuck was I thinking? I know why I did it then, just to fuck around. And like Ted messaged me, just like remove those videos, and I didn't say. I forgot what I said. I wasn't too disparaging. I think I think it was like, no, Dad, you need help, or so. Or, at least I hope I didn't say those in the DMs. I think I said those in the comments on the videos. But if I said those in the DMs, I just my heart would sink is gonna sink again. But yeah, and I remember I had a conversation with Asa a while back where he was under the impression that I think that Game Dude's dad was a lawyer or something, and I'm like, really? Like did he tell you that? Because like he told me he worked at No Frills. His dad was a pharmacist and got him a gig there over summers or in between schools. And I think 2011, 12, he wants nothing to do with his parents, given skin restoration. But he was like in the calls, oh, they robbed me. That's the same thing what he said. The Mai Tai can. Oh, that
spoke to you about that. Like, oh, he was talking about his foreskin. Like,
I remember I think 2009, 2010, one of the call. I do remember in a Skype call because I had discovered ED also discovered not long after where it's like, Alex, is that you posting the forum? He's like, no, that's not me. Oh, I guess he easily could have fell back on. It's like, no, that's just a troll. That's just a troll. And I love how everyone when we all discovered that there's like, oh, and like editing the comments to make sure. But as you know, when people quote comments and reply, the original comments is intact because it doesn't get edited in the quoted. And then eventually, I think it was 2013 or one of the 2013 2014 calls. I remember pressing him on it again. He's like, yeah, that was me. He owned up to it eventually, and it made sense with the stuff with the videos he was posting. But it's like, no, they robbed me. Like he was I think he read up on how there's maybe a little more like sensitivity in the glands in your genitals, like if you have a foreskin. And he's just like, I was robbed of something so much more. It's like, well, dude, if you have a functioning penis and Alana fucking drained you so many times in bed, what do you got to worry about? You got laid. You got pussy, bud. She fucked you. Maybe there was love at one point, but she did. Yeah, she chipped your bones.
Oh, I thought they never even went that far.
Honestly, I was under the impression. Maybe he mentioned again. I hate that I'm saying I'm going off memory. I was under the impression they banged a handful of times, maybe less than a handful of times. I'm willing to round up just for the sake of cutting him a break and saying, you know what, they banged a dozen times probably. And of course there is I'm
willing to bet they did based on the sheep man conversation.
Probably, yeah. And of course there's the story that he was floating around. She said, yeah, I think she slept with me just to shut me up, which now I'm rethinking that entire thing because I thought that was Alex was referring to the first time that Alana and him were going steady, hanging out and hooked up. It's like, no, all these years, but now with Blinky, you could probably correct me on this. I feel like after watching your video, I never even considered that might have been she slept with him in 2011 or 2012 or just to shut him up, because now I hadn't even considered that. I'm like, and now I don't know if it hooked up at all.
I think that he said that he agreed to sleep with her so that she would stop asking him about it, and then they didn't go that far because Alana's mom came into the room or something.
Right,
that's right. Oh yes, that's right. I forgot about that. Man, God. Oh Jesus, God, poor Alex. God, he never fucking talk about Saved by the Bell. Mom coming in to save the day.
So before we get into the Alana, I kind of want to just close out the reviewer arc, because I understand that he really just made a drastic change in his content whenever he really met Alana. So looking at the Wayback Machine, right? I noticed that Alex would sometimes wipe his entire catalog of videos, save for like a Sonic 2006 review.
Yes.
If that's
Yes.
correct.
Yes. Yeah. He would either delete, privates. I don't know if he ever unlisted anything. I don't even know if unlisted was a function back then. But yeah, he would wipe a lot of his channel, and then of course because he's always re-uploading, I guess he didn't care if about the views or not. It's just like all the kids like about revising and perfection. So that was practically a tradition of his practice of his that he would always wipe, and then he just would sometimes would wipe en masse into the entire thing except for I don't know, Sonic 06. Maybe he saw the Sonic 06 Gold Rush. Everyone like a few years after it came out, it's like it's horrible. So it's hard to say, hard to know.
So like pretty much everything, but like maybe one video, but like he would just go on a spree. It wasn't like I guess sporadic. Like this video was just like okay, everything gone, re-upload everything gone, because you were talking about moments where he would be offline, then he will come back on and just like okay, refresh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fresh start. Like in his mind, it seems like he demonstrated in the past. He just, I don't know. It's hard. It's just I feel like if we were to put him under an X-ray or something, or something to monitor his brainwave activity. It lights up like a Christmas tree. Like, it goes from one area to the other, like refresh, lather, rinse, repeat, perfect, revise. I don't know. It was in a continuous loop, like, rarely stopping.
Yeah. So like mid 2009, trolls. I mean, like I guess trolls has a different definition today because people are really aggressive with these kind of creators nowadays. But back then, it was just more for jest, from my understanding. Did you ever know, like, I guess, speak to a Paul Van Hindenburg, the person who made those animations?
Oh yeah. I'm actually. It was run by like 2 or 3 people. I'm actually friends with them to this day. And I found a few of what was it called? Extra something it was just the animations where they just have dude. I love the little mustache that he always had, and then he would just do a little dance. But yeah, like one interview, I think it's on the Game Dude channel. It's from a long time from one of the guy Paul von Hindenburg. His name is Callis. His name was Cal. Like he, pardon me, the British guy, and I actually used part of that in. Like sort of a condensed, a condensed quote in the Vanishing of the Game Dude trailer. And yeah, everyone was going. It's yeah, like I don't think you're hard pressed to find someone who genuinely wanted to who hated or wanted to hurt Game Dude or Alex. Like most of it, just like like just sort of like poking him or just going not touching you, or just like maybe like sort of putting like the equivalent of putting a piece of tape with a piece of tape on his back, like, kick me, or instead of it saying troll me.
That's how people were fans of Alex, pretty much.
Yeah, that was one of the ways to enjoy it. And at that point, around 2009, there had been people in the scene trying to make a name for themselves, like that would sort of break under the pressure, or just like have a good head on their shoulders about it. I mean, that wanted to be game review, but just could not handle trolls, and it would just who is it? SC17 handled some of it pretty well. I mean, that guy was like, I would have to go. I can't remember if that guy ever lashed out at trolls. That guy was just riding high. The guy had like 500 subscribers, 5 years, and like he had 50,000 subscribers, and there was another one comes. I mean, Spax 3. Talk about like a guy who tried to make stuff, but he was a cult. Of course, he was a cult personality in himself. So he probably, I would, like by comparison to someone like Spax, like Alex handled a little better than someone like Spax 3 will. And there, of course, stay in 2012, 2013 when the shit would start to hit the fan. Like there was really fucking went for it. Really like, fuck it, I'm gonna cross. I'm gonna fucking go there. But until then, like Alex would get skeeved. Like I said, sometimes characters like, oh, these freaking idiots. It just was because he would abandon like because I'm a clone parent. I'm like, oh, and like it doesn't pay to do this. I don't know why sometimes, but then that subsides and then he's just back to normal.
So that makes a lot more sense. Like the Game Deals interview was really framed in like kind of being against Alex, but also view is kind of being framed in not a not so serious way and more focusing on his infamy. There's so much around Game Deals I do want to talk about. If you remember that video,
I do remember the video. I thought that video was pretty okay. I mean, it was just conversation. It was a conversation with him as as a regular guy, and like it wasn't like trying to, it wasn't like some sort of TMZ thing where it was just a genuine conversation with the guy, and I think that affirmed in like many people's eyes, like, dude, he's like pretty down to earth, and he's just fooling around online, and he doesn't mean any ill will. Maybe he goes off the rails in comments sometimes, but don't we all? Who hasn't?
Well, in that video, they were also talking about like him fucking the sheep, and at the end, they also said, "You don't mind if we frame this video in a way that makes you look like really bad." So there was a lot of the interviewer seemingly being against Alex, but like kind of like to troll him, like it didn't really come off as too mutual in respect, I guess.
Oh, that. Well,
I mean, I have talked to that guy, and
oh yeah,
he was kind of prodding Alex a little bit. He did kind of say he was a douchebag, but like he said that like he came in before as a customer before he even started doing the game reviewing thing, and he was like a nice guy. It's just that it was kind of just all in good fun, kind of prodding a little bit.
Right.
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, even then, I don't think I was aware. I mean, I did see that in your video, Blink. Even then, like handled himself pretty well. No signs of like him. I think like Buck. No, like the he's not the hyper super energy nerds like all the time. Then that just means he's just I don't know. It's like it was pretty interesting. It was like Game Dude in the wild, essentially. That's when that video came out, and even if it was framed to maybe poke fun at him, I mean, he kind of did as well.
He did.
Yeah, I gotta give him. I give him credit.
So also, I spoke to Asa, right? That's the name, right?
Yeah.
And he told me that he well, Game Dude potentially met Alana in Game Deals, and you might know more about that.
Oh, that's maybe, possibly. I feel like because I forgot. I know they met on a. What was it called? Tag in Game Dude, because I don't know how Alana would be into something like games. I mean, like from what you said, she's a lawyer. She has her degree. She looks like the kind of person who DS and played Brain Age or something, or Puppies or Kittens or those kinds of games.
Well, based on her box art reviews, it didn't seem like she knew a whole lot about what she was talking about.
do.
God of War. Do.
Oh, one brief story about the box art. It won't take long. I don't want to. I'll try not to derail it. But back when YouTube used to do open annotations on stuff,
I remember this video. I know what you're about to talk about.
Yeah, there was a feature where you can fan created annotations, and who suggested it to me? It was running GDO with, and said it's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's open it so people could submit, and it's just literally so much. I don't know if that still works anymore, but and I remember. Like that was an interesting little interactivity thing people did. Like there was some of my favorites were the Bible Man, which was a show about a who lost his way, but he becomes a superhero. And his name's Bible Man, and he fights this green goblin hobgoblin. And he's like, no, and people would just put annotations all over the place. And so we had the idea to put that on the video, and it was. Oh God, the one I remember right off the top of the video, someone said like, oh Alana, is either Game Dude Alana, I'm gonna beat that soft A, that N word. It was wild. It was so nuts.
Okay, so now we can, I guess, start like transition to the Alana. I guess to close out the game, like the reviewer section. when did you notice like that transition from reviewing games to more Alana or like just experimental videos? If you can, like maybe a year or something.
Um, hmm. I would have to say probably, well, 2000, I think, if 2008, 2008, 2009, maybe, possibly 2010, because like I always upload, or as I'm looking through the folders here, there, in, at least in the 20 folder, I'm seeing more videos where he's just recording himself with a hoodie on, like he did a rant like on the Irate game, or do you like this better? There's a few commentary vids, there's a few revisions in response, but I think it's, yeah, 2010. It seemed like I start to notice the shadows of something, like maybe something happening or change slowly starting. Maybe I can't really put on my finger on it too much. Oh, actually, is this it? Yeah, Blake, I have mentioned, because I comment on your video last night. When your documentary, when Alex made the comment,
Right.
like, you're too pretty, stop doing it. Here's the screen caps.
Oh yeah.
Because when I saw you mention those in quotes, I'm like, wait a minute, I might have those, and I ran to my folder, and I'm like, sure enough, there they were.
You cracked my computer screen with your gorgeousness. I love it.
Oh man, well, what a flirt!
Wow, I quoted those perfectly. Wow.
Yeah, you had photographic memory on that one, and the one that you mentioned, that the screen cap that I put in my trailer for Vanishing of Game. Yeah, you summed it up to a T. You had like it was like maybe a few lines longer, but yeah, you got it. You got it, dude.
So this is a question for like both you and Ian. I noticed, like, in to just preface this, I noticed in 2008 in the DigiPress forums, he had a catalog of 29 episodes. But as the years went on, he rarely introduced any new episodes. Was Game Dude just like constantly revising like videos, and then like maybe every couple months releasing something new, or what was like the flow of that?
In 2010, I'm looking in my folder for it. I see a Blinks revision, which came out, or I downloaded in January 2010. So, and there was a version of the Bill and Ted video, which also in January 20 actually was downloaded same day within a few minutes of each other. So, but from the looks of it, there was like many responses to Alana box art videos. There was a Bubsy revision. That's 3. There's Sonic Heroes that he cut so many of those. So yeah, he did the one on the Donkey Kong Country Returns, and he did Don't Fuck with Jack and Daxter, me kicking ass at Mario 2. And yeah, it seems like there were fewer revisions, or there were more revisions than there were new videos. I don't even know if he did one this year, but then again, I have a folder. Oh, where the hell did I pull it? Game Dude. Oh, Game Dude mostly unrevised. So
Yeah, for me, the Game Dude official account, you have the the Ratchet and Clank review up. Do you know how long it was after he made that you posted it? Because that's like my best indication of when he stopped posting in like late 2012.
Let's see. Ratchet and Clank Size Matter. Where did I put it? Okay, so for some reason, I put all of the reviews like just to have them consolidated. And oh wait, no, that's the Donkey Kong 15. Oh, I'm starting to experience shell shock or flashback at the madness that was cataloging all this stuff.
Yeah.
So because I didn't know whether to just put all of the reviews in one folder just to have them there, but it probably would have made sense for me to put them in the yearly folders. But Al the cheating, don't tug my heart. Just okay. Game Dude, okay, so I have it in the 2012 folder. I downloaded it Sunday, December 16th, 2012. Actually, you know what?
Okay, that's when it says it's posted on Game Dude Official, because I'm looking at it right now.
Okay, all right. So if I had to guess, if not same day, same month, or mid-December, if the dates are different between Game Dude Official and I'm looking at the properties, it says modified at. Oh god damn! I have this. I downloaded this at 3:33 a.m. on December 16th, 2012. God damn! I used to jokingly say to my friends, it's like when I told them I was Game Dude Official, it was like dude, like how do you have all this stuff? And I'm like, that thing called a life? Have the exact opposite of that, and that's how GameDudeOfficial was born.
Okay, yeah, that helps my understanding. And so the way I kind of like see like the earlier versions, the earlier iterations, is they had like the nerd spired, right? That was like the first versions of them, if that's correct.
Yeah, Oh, the very first one, yeah, in the Barbie, it said I'm looking at it, it says inspired by the nerd, and then he just shortened it to nerd-spired.
And then he deleted that altogether in the later iterations.
Yeah, I think he realized it just didn't.
People
I
like,
guess it.
yeah, me put him still.
Yeah, I think he. Forgive me, I'm through like the first reviews I have of him. It said nerd, and yeah, he just did away with. It was kind of point to. I guess, just to just that because he was trying to think, but like the nerd spire, it was gone, and he just kept about like recutting, making, inserting, removing, add, subtracting, and it was just yeah, like still did that. He did because around that time, it just seemed like he was moving on to more stuff. Like, oh, every now and then, like I said, he would post stuff, or stuff would turn up that he starred in from Vancouver Film School. Or I assume from Vancouver Film School, or his friend, and he had a group of friends. I think were probably doing the same thing. It's like, hey, let's make movies or do projects. I think I want to believe, or at least if there was a biopic of Game Dude, would just write a scene where some to do this. You're not like there's a teacher says like, I understand you want to do like these videos, but I don't really think they contribute anything. I mean, they demonstrate your editing skills and what you're passionate about, but this isn't like you have to do a project that we assign to you, like a subject, and then go and do it. You can't just keep submitting these. I like feel like he tried to submit these numerous times. If the DM that one guy sent me was in his class is to be believed, yeah.
And yeah, like besides the additional channel that could be his, right? Of the continued revisions went up until 2012, where like to that.
I forgot about until I do remember time, and yeah, that seemed like I feel like he set up another channel, and he just if he's willing to delete entire channels now based on that. I don't know why. Maybe he was going to turn. Maybe he thought about turning the channel into something else later, or just have stuff, or just have a channel stuff, but he just store stuff on private or unlisted.
And so whenever like I was speaking to Asa, right, he brought forward the idea, like because you guys actually spoke to him, that it was more of just like a bigger aspect of Alexander. Maybe he was paranoid or something, right? Like, and always wanted like this kind of perfection where he would take any criticism that anyone was levying towards any video and he would apply that to a revision, right? So if anyone was like, I hated this segment, he would just scrape that off, and eventually like it became his revisions, from my understanding, became bastardized versions of the original, where a 15-minute video would be like a minute 47 seconds.
That he did what I would used to call where he would play like a 1/1 trillionth of a second and then pause, and then like a minute and a half of stuff, and then another like half a second pause, and it went on forever and ever and ever. Eventually down the line, like I want to say 2011, 2012, sometimes I guess there would be sometimes he couldn't be arsed to sit through a whole video and pause and play, so he would just do text commentaries. People who would say stuff. It's like, oh, it's ripped off from the nerd, or ripped off, quote unquote, word for word from the nerd, or any other reviewers. It's like, okay, that is identical. I may fix that. And then other times he says like, oh, not identical enough. There's no need to. And he's like, no, it's a very like there was no metric to it. He was very fast and loose with like just the criticism. And I feel like half the time it was just like troll videos, and the other half was genuinely serious video, and like any criticism. I mean, I want to say he took some well, but I don't know if he really applied it. I think it was just a temporary, a moment of temporary lasting that he just, I don't know. It's weird. I want to say he was like drifting other thing, or it seems like he would have moved on at this point, but he's like, no, I'll just like still do them, still revise, do commentaries for fun. But then he was doing the face cam commentary sometime, face commentaries and rants, and I don't know. It's he was still hung up on it. He still couldn't fully leave it behind.
Right, and I this is just like purely your opinion from here. Like this question is, what do you think it says about Alexander or anyone who takes that much criticism to mind? Right, that obsession. Like, what do you feel that says about Alexander?
I feel he's just a hyper, just kind of some of the time he gets it, and he's just maybe not an aggressive personality, but just a hyper personality about it. It's like, dude, are you okay? It's like da. He just disregards and maybe he listens some of the time, but as the day, it seems that sometimes they're just go in one ear, out the other. And it's a bounce between when real moments of clarity, actually listen and do something, to just not being able to or move on, and just like, or apply this. It's actually if A equals C this, then maybe try move some of the letters or move numbers around. But it's just old habits die hard. You a slave to those. And it's like it's safe to play it, safe and do it. Just revert back. It's like a cook nightmares where it's like to change something further, and they're like the opening night, everything good, but the still somewhat of a stubborn bastard. He just immediately starts putting stuff to heat up microwave. Right? I was like, Alex, what the hell are you doing? Like, come on, man. It's like, no, it's just no. Absolutely not. But cadets all the Mario must be in one video.
Well, what that oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going around and it's just, it doesn't hurt my brain, but it becomes so much of a blur trying to deconstruct. Like I feel like there's dozens and dozens, hundreds of answers to like why Alex is the way he is, and even though all those answers are true, I always feel the need to like, is it just one or the other? It's like the game dude, like his condition, like just osmosis itself onto you. And it's like, is it this one or this? It's the game dude method.
I was gonna say, like, Alex's method is very much hyperfixating and going around in circles and everything. Like, if you watch his like beach rants or anything, he says the same thing like 50 million times. And so, yeah, I mean, it helps to have that type of analysis when I guess you're talking about him.
Well, I mean, yeah, on that topic, like, it could be through Skype or whatever. Would you find him like obsessing about things in the same way, like in the revisions about himself? Would you ask you like, man, should I fix this? And not even just like relating to Alana, but just like anything and like relating to his life or advice.
Not that I remember. Maybe a few times. I don't think he was. He always like percent. He was never all about talking shop. So whenever Skype, those are most, as you could say, chill, or the closest to chill that he could possibly have. And like, he talking shop, and he wasn't too. It's, I don't know. It's almost like the Alex of Two Worlds. I'm not saying he's like schizophrenic, but I don't know. It could be a scanner dark. Like both two sides of his brain can for each other, or there's another soul inside of his mind, like trying to. It's always there, waiting to take over, like a Tyler type, but for.
Yeah, it's like Alex and Game Dude is the Tyler Durden, and then Edward Norton. But
okay,
we're the all-seeing pussy wuss of the world.
All right, perfect. And now we can just like talk about Lana. I think we covered everything about like Game Dude, really, like his revisions, his uploads, his process. Oh man, now like the really crazy stuff. So, when was the first time he mentioned Alana to you?
I don't know if he ever mentioned Alana about it. My mind's blurring on this one. I think he just for. I want to say he started with those videos, BioShock and the God of War 2. Our reviews, like, yeah, like I if there was some grand announcement, but at some point came in that so I have a girlfriend. Her name's Alana. I was like, oh, would it be? And I think wouldn't it be fun to include you in the videos? And she's silly, off the cuff, cover art. That's disgusting. I'd say culturally insensitive gargoyle. The Kratos wore a skirt. It's not a skirt. It's not a skirt. It's a kilt. Get you.
So something I noticed about the whole like inclusion of Alana is, I mean, like in various videos, he just used his channel like as a way to really like anchor his personality and to feel like he had something. Whether it was that drunk video, singing his theme song, including Alana, he was like, "Yes, I'm a YouTuber," kind of thing.
No, yeah, I agree. I would say, like what guy wouldn't, like who has, I wouldn't know, who had a modicum of e-fame said, like, modicum of e-fame, what YouTuber would not, like, yeah, like, oh, and here's, and she does, like, or, she's a, okay, like, yeah, review these bucks, baby, I guess you could say in a dissection, maybe in a true Hollywood where he's like, got a going, a girl, or coming up game.
Hold up, I think you're breaking up quite a bit. I think your internet is...
Yeah, I see my... Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about... I don't know why, but it's like, I keep seeing seeing it dropped around. I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to... let me see. Let me see if I can close some stuff.
No worries, no worries.
But this is drive me up the wall. I don't know why. I guess it was just if I had to guess for him to show off, just to show off that girl, and why not, and but not really in a casual way.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, it was early, and I guess he seemed like the kind of guy that really wanted to have that for himself, right?
Yeah, definitely, and don't we all? Doesn't everybody?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can relate to that, honestly.
Yeah, they're Alex is relatable in like in many ways. You know what I mean? Like I can't say I would make the dinosaur video or the beach vlogs, but I feel like we've all been lost in some way like that in our lives.
So. Oh yeah, I do have a lot of empathy for him. I mean, I also can't defend a lot of his actions, but at the same time, like I don't like hate the guy or anything like that.
I can understand the we've all been there. Teens in our the dinosaur video, like maybe, but like at some point, like that, and it was like all this shit from about wolves and 15 rolls around, everything gone. Like kind of, it could have been worse. Like internet. It doesn't when it comes to breakups, but he I'm just it's everything happened the way they did, but I'm glad it wasn't that worse. I
actually do have a bit of a question about the dinosaur video. So I remember him commenting that his roommate told him to do that or something back when he first posted it, and then later on his roommate attacked him with a frying pan and he ran away and became homeless. And I heard that he couldn't film while he was at home around that time because of his roommates or something. So whenever he would talk to people on Skype or whatever, he'd go to a place with free Wi-Fi, like Starbucks or a coffee shop or something like that.
I remember this, yes. And he said he would pitch a tent outside.
Yeah, it's safe to assume the videos that were outside might have been half the time at some place, and he might have been half homeless time, which is just really kind of sober, and just had nothing to do. And you remember that is detailed in the blog. I need to get that to you guys. Let me see, where is it? 2014. Yeah, 2014, March to May. Actually, there was only okay, how much it has this? So what I'll do is I'll post 6 to 7. Okay, so I'll now these images, they look tiny, but they're taking forever. Now they look really tiny, so when you open these, rather when I was first capping them, I doing like like screen grab, but it was so just got an extend. It captured the entire page, so they look. You really got to zoom in like all the way, like crystal clear, like so they won't become blurry when you zoom in on them.
Okay.
So, okay, this is the first. It's taking its sweet ass time to for what I remember, and I believe he details it in these blogs. I haven't read these blogs long time, but from what I remember, his roommates were just fed up, just whatever the hell was going. Like, why are cops coming to the house? What is this shit? Like, Alex, maybe he. If I had to like add another guest to that, he would like record videos like super quiet, but even like the whole house, and that's probably if I did. That's why he probably went out mooch off of Wi-Fi to do all those videos and talk online.
Well, on that topic, how often do you think you would talk to Alex on Skype and such?
Honestly, I think my yearly thing. It wasn't. I think I have I have a dozen calls with him recorded somewhere, but I don't know. It might be half that. Honestly, had I known, I would have hit him up more often. And like the last one I remember having, I think it was in 2014. What he did is he took everyone on his Skype and added one giant call. There must have been like 30 to 50 people, maybe more. It was a lot. Everyone was in, it's Game Dude. He's off his goddamn rocker. And there were people who were pathetic saying, I think they were more or less up to date on what was happening, or just then catching up. And it was just a sad thing to see. Like, and I was saying to people in there, it's like, I would say the same, but like me and I told him last year, don't do this shit to, don't contact her. Just, throw yourself at the mercy of the court and you'll probably get a reduced sentence. Like if the charges go through or just not do. And here are, all right. And here's the remaining. I don't know. I feel bad about this too. I don't know why I didn't put these years ago. I always meant to. And for the longest time, I assumed someone else had to have capped them. And it turns out I felt like at least me or 5 other people probably had them. And people, if people did cap them, they were just sitting on a hard drive somewhere waiting to be seen again, like 20 years. So I guess back then never. But your documentary, you mentioned there's like sort of three or 4 narrative frames. There's the Matei confessions. There is the video where it's like where it's the picture of the pier, and it's like which I believe last I said, or it was uploaded like right after the trial and the case was thrown out. And this blog I think like helps like sort of like it's like it helps. It just kind of goes on and on. It's War and Peace length tech.
Yeah,
and
I remember reading this back in the day. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's more or less the stuff, but if anything, it's it's a peek into his soul and his madness, and like to take a police blotter or a cork board together, like it helps clarify because he does some stuff with the roommate. Mentions how like his Lana like shared, they were kind of in a group. And all that came crashing down. A lot of them just sympathize with the law, and I don't blame them because Alex just fucking crazy, would not take advice. And I'm sorry to that, but I'll back. I'm rambling. I don't mean to ramble, but there's blog posterity.
Just thank you so much.
This is all very good.
Thanks so much for the blog. I've been looking for this for a while.
Yeah, it's so lengthy. Yeah, you're saying War and Peace, like, man, so you can definitely testify to this being obscenely long without exaggeration.
Yeah, and it's like we were about his mind is just like, well, it's a pattern. It's almost like how he did like his process, the Game Dude his videos, lather, repeat, but it's not really lather, rinse. It is sort of, honestly, it's the same here. Lather, repeat, like drive these point home. You have to believe me. And I would tell him in these calls, like, but and it's like, will not care about that. Do not mention any of, and on the off chance this went to trial, like if it trial, which is never going to go to trial. You would 12 jurors to see past that, if at all. And it's just it's just not going to. Honestly, for like, it could have been a hell of a lot worse. But maybe it's best that this whole thing and yeah, he claimed that like Alana take the stand and she just like ran out of the court and ran out of the courtroom and the case was, and Alex was really bitter about that because he didn't get to tell his side of the story. And like, you know what? That's
Oh
a blessing. That's not even silver. I don't know if there's such thing as a platinum lining. I'd say that's a platinum lining. That's the bill you're gonna get. And who knows where he went, because all over the place during like in between 2012 to 2015, because like he mentioned going to Mexico and like 14, like, oh, I don't know, he thought of going off or like being like after it was like that charges would be filed, because like he thought about going to South Africa for some reason. It's like yeah, oh okay, I mean if you just need some time, oh, just goes like, oh, you think? Don't do that. And going to Egypt, this was back where there was still relative rest in Egypt. I remember 2012, 2013, there was a roar back in Egypt. And I remember saying, oh, you want to go to Egypt? The bloodshed at this time of year. And he knew, like, and apparently he said he went to Mexico, as seen it. He says he went to Mexico. Lada, baby, I went to in California in Disneyland. And I remember and him on there saying, he's like, oh, Mexico. Oh, if like if he doesn't fucking if he doesn't get the Zeta cartel will probably get him at the time, because they were up. And then the time he said he wanted to go to China and I think, I don't know why, but at the time there were like student protests going on in China, and I don't know if factor in it, like, Alex, to these places where or you want to go to places where there's going on. I don't think there was anything going on in South Africa. He expressed interest in it, but it was just weird. I guess the further the better of starting a new life.
Yeah.
Okay. So through you spoke to him like bi-yearly through Skype. How did Alex change during the courses of those conversations to you?
Well, he was I don't know. Well, for me, 2014 was he got in contact with a few friends, and he was just like we thought things were hunky dory. Like, oh, I'm just I was under the assumption like in a hefty while, all them uploaded by that time, or no, 2013. I'm sorry, 2014 is when it all went wrong again. But 2013, kind of a blind spot. He would upload stuff, but there wasn't much movement going, and I don't think I uploaded all that much on GameDudeOfficial. Being like, just like I think I buy on stuff. And I'm like, he might be gone. Maybe I felt like they do or kind of fucked off from the internet. He's probably, I don't know, maybe he got caught like he found doing. It's like, and he got out. He got one ending where he went through. He was on. There were a few skirmishes, but you know what? Other personnel. He got out. Bobby is like ribbon and stuff. Rolls around and he hops up and he's telling shit like him and Alana. I don't know, like his man. I question how he said the open relationship is narrow. I always saw it down. Him and Alana didn't know how to communicate with each other. More so, and Alana actually said in the deposition video, it's like, I've been autistic or have Asperger's on the spindra. He probably probably hyperdose of ADD, but it was just, it's really easy. The story, it's like, no, but like, yeah, how he would hang out around her place. He's like, go talk to me. Why didn't you tell me you were hooking up with this guy? It's like, oh boy, this turned into Berg's Fear Fast, or just some like just thriller obsessive lover who can't get over stuff. And it was fucking wild up until that point. I had no evidence. I just thought generally it's like living the best life. He got out. YouTube, I did nothing. And he productive life. Turns out he's still hung up on a lawn, and he's coming to us saying stuff, and it's a severe case, like, you know, first sight, love, like first impression, everlasting impression. She took my or it's just like, Alex, like, what's going on? You know, she thinks I'm a stalker, and it's like, thanks, which is like, or you probably you exhibit you have all the markings of a stalker. So that's some legal counsel. Pretty rough. He was talking. He sold a lot of blame in your video that he or what was that he had a video detailing showing off his. I have that video. It's like about 5 minutes long. Or I don't.
Awesome.
Yeah. Of his collection, he sold a lot to try and win Alana back. Like, he bought her a dying and claimed to have given it to her. It's like, here, take the ring, take this. Like, oh, you doing? What are you doing? It was so hard to sit. Well, it wasn't. It was just, oh my god, this is.
It was I was talking to Joon on the last call about that. My theory was that after he got the ring back, he probably sold it and used that money to travel around the world. Do you know if that's true at all?
It's possible. He sold more or less, I think, everything he owned. He sold his entire. He had a truck, $1,000 way back when, which he apparently for $1,000 said, I got a deal. So who knows where the money went? And at that point, like, his roommates were getting pretty pissed off because, like, the cops came one time and they're trying to figure out, like, what the hell? What the fuck is this? What the hell is going on, Alex? It's like, oh, this is like everyone, his roommates, his friends, like he was spiraling without, like, he had like a reality distortion field, oblivious to the reactions of everyone around him. And all of his friends decided that, I think collectively decided that he needed to go because, like, what the hell is this? Why is this a regular thing? Why are there police reports? Why is stuff like, he's waiting outside. Like, he likes to claim that, well, Alana and I don't live too far apart, and we're at, like, intersections where we used to travel and go to school and to work.
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to see her, as you'll see demonstrated with I want to say, did he use Cinema 4D for that one, for like the little, I don't know. Oh my god, it's a weird forensics thing, and
yeah.
It was just so crazy and rambling. He wants to believe so desperately that he's right. I believe that he believes it, but no one else. That doesn't mean everyone else should believe it.
I remember a specific instance. Sorry to interrupt you. In the dinosaur video, right? He said, and it just sticks out to me so much. He was like, "I wasn't stalking her. I was following her. Big difference." A big disconnect through the entire thing.
It's like, oh yeah, and it's this mission. He must have thought he was Harrison Ford in The Fugitive. He was a man on a mission out to prove the truth, and he's like, you know, I did not stalk her, and everyone else going, I don't care.
One of my favorite quotes from the dinosaur video is, "She called me a psychopath, but she didn't tell me to go away."
Oh yes. On that topic, right? Is he kept referencing, like, she told me through her body language, but she didn't say it, right? And then later in the video, be like, she's telling me to go away, but I had to just confront her. Like, you know what I mean? There was no understanding any way. There was no line that she could have, like, you know, told him to go away that he would fully understand. It was just excuses, and he would just keep pushing the bar. It's like, well, she didn't physically push me away. She just told me. And then, like, oh, well, she pushed me, but, she wasn't serious about it because she really loves me. Like, the insanity just kept on pressing on.
Yeah, it's just, he would never take no for an answer, and if not that, no means yes, or no is just an antonym or a synonym for yes.
Hate is love. That's something else that stands out.
Yeah, hate is inverted love. I remember that quote too.
Hate is inverted love, you know.
Did you ever, like, speak to Sheepman? Do you know who that was?
I did not. That's to me, that's where the whole thing came out of nowhere. 2013, 2014, when all this shit started to come to light. Alex sent me, I think, let me find the video. I did a compilation. What was it? June 7th. Oh god. Music I put on this video, good. It's from 82 megs, goddamn. So yeah, out of nowhere, Alex sends me these messages like, you motherfucker. I think he thought I was Sheepman. I'm like, what is going on? What the hell is going on? So I do some digging around. I guess it's not that hard to find because I feel like while this stuff was coming out, this wasn't like, like everyone didn't like drop everything to say like, yo, game dude shit happening. Oh man, a big one. Everyone like we're going to war. And so he sends me all these, or he's like, what the fuck? Why did you do that? Like, dude, that's not me. That's not like, what the hell is going on?
I actually re-uploaded that video that you posted. Let's see if I can find it, and I'll just link it in the chat. But yeah, it's the one where he accuses you of doing that.
Is the same one where at the end the images of Alana like send it to official? Because
no, this is a different one. This is the one where I think it was called Game Dude accuses me of ruining his relationship.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just linked that in the chat.
All right, God, I forgot about it too. That's how I forgot about it.
Okay, so now we're getting... Oh, go ahead.
Just gonna say, yeah. So yeah, these are the same ones. I think I just did one. I'm talking. I'll throw in here. It's more or less the same. It's just a montage of stuff that I think of. Just set to like some somber music.
And is that the messages between you and Alex?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay. That's what I was looking for. That one. That's the one where I first heard about him going to Mexico because he said it in those messages.
Well, he said in the blog, like there's a one of the where he details all of his email, and so circulating. He's like, hey, Alana, I want, hey, Alana, I hope you're doing good and this stuff. It's like, I hope, and then like, a month will go by, and it's like, well, you have to realize the reason why I did that is because you were being cold to me, and I don't know. It's like, you were being with your illogical logic, like as Celery used to do, and he just was thought, okay, well, I cut that out of my system. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I won't do it anymore. And then more time passes, like, even though you did kind of, you have to admit, you did kind of do it. And Alana was just getting all this stuff, probably sent to her spam folder. She probably marked him to go all the fucking spam. It just did not help him. And he was sending this to her when like I think the whole process was starting to take shape of her, like, calling the cops. Like she filed reports that he kept emailing and phone calling her, everything, just would not fuck off. And it's just, yeah, again, it's the game dude method, like, lather, rinse, repeat. You keep going, you keep going, you keep going. Like he's on a quest. Like this was a quest to be proven right, and
pure obsession. Pure obsession.
It's just fanatical.
So this is going to be a question for both you and Ian, right? And just by the contents of it, just by what it is, what are your thoughts about the dinosaur video? What does that tell you about just a person making that? And Pelswick.
Do you want to go first, Blinky?
I just remember when it first came out. I think it came out after the first video, and my mind was just like his mind just must have snapped. That was my first like initial gut reaction. Like, this guy is like far gone. Yeah, like I think it just it has kind of like, I guess, a Christian quality to it, in the sense that, like, Christian kind of does that thing where he'll explain things through toys or something. Like it's sort of a sign of, I think, developmental kind of issues, and combined with just pure obsession and insanity.
Yeah, it just having somewhat of like a front row seat, or like having talked to, like, in 2013, 2014, like I want to say I had like a 2 or 3 calls with Alex, like, but like over those 2 years, and then just seeing this shit unfold and him posting the stuff online, and it's just, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I think the only words that would come to my mind are he is lost. He like his muscle. I mean, I'm not surprised, but at the same time, I'm like, God damn, like, what existence is this? This is not a world. This is not an existence. But this is where he wound. It's such a sadness, and he needs to prove it. I mean, I think a question that probably couldn't be answered. Like a rhetorical question that Alex could probably answer when he shouldn't. Is like, Alex, who are you trying to convince, dude? He's trying to convince everyone, but like he may seem already convinced, but he's trying to he wants to convince himself. He wants the whole world to know, but it's like, that's not going to happen, dude. Once the world's convinced, you're convinced, and you want validation. But that's a dangerous thing to have, because if he were to have, like, just say hypothetically, if the whole world validated it, that means he's validated on everything because his instincts were true and he fought through hell, Richard Kimball style from The Fugitive, to make sure. It's just like, and that's a dangerous path, and it's good. I think whatever he's doing now, I hope he's okay. It's good. It's if this happened today, it would be a nightmare horror. It was a nightmare for back then. I mean, 10 years, 2013, it's like nearly 10 years ago. That's when this whole showboat kicked off, and the snowball and the boulder like rolled down the hill, and it just kept more snow, and there's no way of saying that it's good that it happened, but if it had to happen, I'm glad it happened back then, and there was it didn't get worse than it did.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
We're almost done. I just have a few more questions. But like, to expand on your point, there is definitely something bigger about Alex and validation. I think that is strong throughout his entire time on YouTube. From the revisions, from the constant asking of questions, from the Skype calls, everything from Alana, right? There is just some need to be validated in any way. Like it's just present everywhere.
Absolutely. He just, I guess, on some level he wanted to be accepted, and you'd think at some point he would just realize, like, if a part of this, you're doing this to be accepted, then like maybe you're kind of missing the point. I mean, it's like, it's a nice compliment. It's a good motivation boost. It's like, like if someone says, "Oh, I love your work," like, you're doing good. But I don't know. I think maybe at some point he loved doing it for himself, just to do it, and but I think in the end, all the validation he really got was his own. It was a continuous feedback loop, and I guess he got some praise. He got some praise from Rolf. I remember folders, which I'll upload my entire thing to GoFile for you both to look. But in one of the years, I document after like a back and forth with Mike Matei. I really didn't like Mike Matei reason, because Mike was a pretty shady guy and kind of an asshole. He's the one who more or less kicked off the rivalry.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
no.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I was talking to Joon the other day, and on those Digitpress forums, I saw Game Dude was getting trolled by someone called Elvis 8 Atari, and I think Cinemassacre Truth outed that as Mike, because he was like trying to do that incognito and go on Cinemassacre Truth, and they found like an email linking Mike to that name. So I think that I mean, he was both incognito and just as himself trolling Game Dude.
Yeah, a lot of people did that back then for shits and giggles. And Mike was kind of like, I guess he was playful about it sometimes, but he was a malicious motherfucker. I mean, as per his namesake.
Yeah.
And like he was the original one when there was the outcry that between for Boris plagiarizing Rolf. What happened was he sent Chris Boris sent an email to the Cinemassacre account talking to James, meant to addressing it to James.
Yeah.
But Matei also had access to that as well. So what he did is he copied and screen capped the email and posted on the Screw Attack forums just to sort of stir a pot and stuff. I mean, maybe I would have to find that somewhere. He's like, Boris did admit to unintentionally plagiarizing. It's like, which, that's fine. But Mike was just like.
So from my understanding, what Mike said, the reason he posted that is because Boris sent that email, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna stop copying you." And then after that, he posted the TMNT review, and so then Mike posted that to just be like, "Hey, look, this guy lied to us," like something like that. From what I'm
okay, all right. You know what? Honestly, that makes sense. Like I didn't know that, or if I did, I forgot it. But I guess that makes sense. It was a Wild West back then,
It certainly was.
Cowboys and bandits on all fucking sides for that.
So Pelswick, besides the Digipress Elvis Atari, what direct conflict were you talking about with that Game Dude was having with Matei?
I think Game Dude just wanted to like talk to Rolf, and Rolf, like, of course, like has a busy schedule like as is, and like if Rolf could, he would respond to like like he would pull a full like cram sesh like Ringo Starr on his cameo on The Simpsons. He's going to reply to every last person he can. But like if you send a lot of stuff to like Mike managed a lot of Cinemasker accounts, and so if I had to imagine a scenario of how that probably went about, Alex probably demanded, it's like, no, I want to talk. I need to talk to Rolf. I just want, I think he was looking for validation, but more like, what do you think? What do you think? And James Rolf got like plenty of that over the years. So there's only so much he could like, because he would have to take his time, like what would it be a first glance? Would it be one video or multiple videos? But eventually, as we saw, Game Dude posted, he's like, he got, he eventually got in touch with Rolf. He managed to buy. I think I would like to say for the made-for-TV movie, the narrative nonfiction, I would like to think that Alex just browbeat Mike Matei. It's like, oh my god, here's James. James, can you just please? I need a break. I kept this guy at bay, and then it just turns out Rolf and Alex just had like a delightful conversation, and then those were the 2-part videos where Alex he read off letters. His correspondence with James is like, because I think there were some people like, I wonder what James thinks, and then there was the thing at Screw Attack convention where someone was like, were in a roundabout way mentions like Alexander 448 Game Dude, so of course didn't know who the hell he was talking about. Yeah, so I mean at the very least he got Alex eventually got to talk to one of his heroes, and I guess I forget if he got any any suggestions, but it was just a good correspondence. And you know what, that's good. And if that's all he was really striving for this whole time, then then good on him, I guess.
I mean, the beauty of that, like the whole convention, is whenever they brought up Alexander 4048, some like audience members actually like knew who he was, and then like whenever James Rolfe was like, well, who is that? And then someone like shouted, "Oh, a stalker, a weirdo!" Like, and that was definitely foreshadowing the Alana situation.
Oh, Jesus! Yeah,
yeah. I remember he's like, he's crazy. Ooh,
yeah, he's crazy. He's crazy.
So, like, two big like last things to, like really touch on is, well, they're pretty lengthy, but the whole going crazy, right? The whole dinosaur video and the do you know like what the original like versions of the beach vlog was, the Matei confessions, were they called that?
No, those were, I think those were the titles I gave them when I put them up on GDO.
I think they were called the Alana story when they first came out.
Oh yeah, it's like Al the Great. There like so many videos in 2013, 2014 called Al the Great.
Yeah,
Al the Great Liar.
Al the Great Cop Stalker, Al the Great, and then it was just like his animal videos.
Yeah, Al the Great cheating girlfriend's interview, Al the Great cheating girlfriend's 911 call.
Yeah, so I think he was trying to like label his stuff that was not game related as Al the Great, and then he was relabeling his game stuff as Game Dude, which I don't know.
Yeah, the original 4 videos were Al the Great, Alana story 1, 2, 3, and 4, all in caps.
Okay. And something interesting is like, if it was just like the dinosaur video or the Matei, you rename them, I wouldn't really believe much of his story as he tells it, right? Like, because there is like something you can follow on, right? Because it starts with like, these stories start with him at a club, and then she's dancing with someone else, and then he gets mad and gets kicked out and starts crying. And then he rushes to Alana's place of residence, knocks on the door, and that's when they almost have sex. And then his mom catches him. There is like something to follow through, right? Did he tell you that story?
He did tell the story about the dancing, and it's like, and the reason that story is so clouded every time he tells it, because he's like, so there I am in the club, and like it's all in his mind. We're seeing it from his mind, so there's so much brain fog about like
and he admits that he's drunk when he's in this story, so there's also that.
Oh, fucking joy, Alex. So there's so many layers to it. So we're getting because like the human brain processes so many thoughts per second, and we can only like we'd have to like speed our speech up to YouTube like 5%, like how it speeds up videos. So we're getting every single microscopic thought that's like going through his neurons and receptors in his brain. Well, here's what happened. Here's the like. It's almost like he's doing a commentary, like a real life commentary, like he used to do with the detractor videos. You would pause and play. This new level. This is in the level of fucking text commentary. Fuck video games, just real life text commentary, brain fog commentary.
Yeah, because I remember that's what he did in the blog too. And I mean, I guess we have the blogs now, so I can verify that. But it would be like he would quote word for word what was in the court document, and he's like, "That's bullshit. This is what actually happened." And then that's like, a huge part of the blog.
We refer to my commentaries where I recount my testimony to the free public to know. And actually, I sort of wanted to ask you guys. I haven't seen this video anywhere else. I need to check GDO. I think I privated it, but there's this either 25 megs. But there was one where Alex is like standing in a stairwell that I don't know if it's commonly known. He was assaulted, like he was with a friend, and I think he was like getting into it with someone. And yeah, it's called Game Dude Douchebag. And how long is this video? Douchebag and Cops. And basically it is what the fuck is it?
I'm not sure I know about this actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw it up on. Yeah, I'm gonna throw it up on GoFile real quick for you. It's gonna be in the folder because after we concluded, I'm gonna put like my entire, I guess, dossier, you call it, up on GoFile or somewhere, and I'll link it here for you guys to sort through. Like I said, it's organized year by year.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, because it's. Yeah, like I should have done this years ago. I don't know why it took me this goddamn long, but it just, and one of my that was one of my, because around it was like 2016, 2017, and I said previously, or I said it on Skid's video. I pitched the idea of Jim Mediker's Internet Insanity video to him because I had all these files lying around, and I noticed I didn't want to feel like cocky, but I felt like, I asked myself, am I the one that has all this stuff? So I talked to Jim and we go through all the files and the stuff. And and then there's a lot of the originally, like, if in the perfect world we would have Jim would have uploaded the court documents, but I told him this like chick, someone messaged me, Caramel Sand messaged me, and like, even though this is a few years and everyone's forgotten about, who knows, she might be able to flag it down. Who knows if like the documents, I don't know if I don't think they're illegal to post because it's been a while.
Well, the thing about the court documents is that they actually had Alana's address on there, and I'm not sure if she still lives there anymore, but her mom might. So that's the one thing about posting those that I'm kind of, I guess, wary about.
I actually that brings to mind. I remember one time several years ago, me and Asa, we were chilling, we were doing a stream together, and we actually brought those up. It was like, yeah, let's bring those up, and we accidentally like halfway read a lot of docs on there, and we like pulled it down, like, oh fuck, because it had been a while since I checked them out. So, but I think that one's lost to time. It was just it was, I mean, some people might argue. I think there were maybe a few people. It's like, oh, so sources do trust me. It's like, nah, there's a reason. I mean, I think it'd probably be okay to, I don't know. I think like probably the best effort, like if any of you like, or if Ian, if you want to do like another addendum vid with the.
I'm definitely going to be doing more after today.
I'm looking forward to both of these because I went through like because I watched like I think 5 of yours last night, and I'm like, you know what, like I noticed there was like you pretty much covered everything. I think there's a few vids that maybe you don't have, but at the same time, like you kind of covered it all, even if you didn't have the vids. But I think this I think I want to say like I don't think the stuff I have is the missing link, but I think it's like it's somewhat of closure to the
I kind of feel a level of closure I haven't felt since I started doing these Game Dude videos, but I mean, this is a huge day in Game Dude history. Yeah,
and like one of my hopes, it's like since Jim had like a large platform, had a large following, that if he put the video, one of my hopes is that Game Dude would sort of come out of like retirement, or he would like come out and like say, hey, how's it going? I don't know what, somewhere to let us know how he's doing. But I guess it's okay if he's staying offline, or if he's somewhere else online, but he hasn't made his presence known. And good on him too. I just
do you still have Jim's contact? Because I know he's pretty close to passing on at this point based on his last live stream.
I do, but like the last time I talked to him was I think a year and a half ago. Like he's been not to put it lightly, like he's been. I mean, on top of like the treatment stuff, he's just like he's offline, like dealing with real life stuff. Because like while you, because even if you're going through treatment, fucking Comcast, they still send the fucking bills. They're gonna throttle your shit and they're gonna bilk you more for what you should pay. So someone's gotta hold their feet to the fire and say, hey. Do you know who I am? I'm Mr. Medicare.
Also, the internet aristocrat.
I do have like just like one last, I guess, series of questions. You can like, it's pretty much just recounting his story, and you can basically say like, I don't remember anything like this if you don't really remember it well, just so we can get like these questions out of the way at a faster rate. But I'm just gonna pretty much like throw a bunch of questions at you as he retells it.
Okay.
Like kind of build a timeline if anything's correct, or if you have anything to add. So the club situation, from my recollection, she was with another guy. Did she have like a boyfriend at the time of the stalking?
That I never thought about. I would not be surprised if maybe she had, I don't know, what would you call a suitor or potential suitors or
right.
that hit her up. Most of that is just like we have Alex's point of view. I mean, outside of if she's at the club, up in the club, and she's with a few guys, yeah, she was probably looking for something. I can't be 100% certain for that, but I guess through Alex's eyes, which are very extremely not reliable.
Yeah.
Maybe not. It's hard to say. I honestly, if she's just going about her life and then like the whole shit with Alex is building up, it would her out. I think she was just tight with her mom at that time. I don't know if she would have had time for dating while dealing with that shit, like balancing a job and school maybe, and having a boyfriend on top of that, and then having to deal with a crazy fucking ex. Like who knows if she did have a boyfriend, who knows if the boyfriend would have stood by her, was like, man, like what's with it? Or he just got out because he couldn't do with the crazy ex stuff.
Because I remember with Alana, she was, according to Game Dude, I should say, whenever he like confronted her at the Starbucks about the tagged conversation, he later called her that same day, and a guy answered their phone. He was like, "I'm gonna fuck her tonight, buddy," and then he just kept like calling her. So it sounds like he might have been like sleeping around a little bit, if not a committed boyfriend.
And also, you stated that they were lovers of 4 years. Did he ever like actually state to you that they were in an actual relationship, or was it just like all up in the air?
It only went off of just from what we've seen. Like he did videos of her, and I guess they were friended on Facebook, and so like everyone knew, but I don't think everyone knew like intimately unless you were in the immediate circle. And so when 2012 or 2013 rolled around, and he's like saying, and then he's mentioning like, oh, we had an open relationship, and I think I want to say Alana said this in the deposition video too, but I don't know. It's hard to say. Just by rampant idle speculation, I think it was just these were two people who just Alana. I mean, Alex did not know how to communicate with people. This was his first girlfriend, his first love, and I think Alana was just like a regular. Not to call her a normie, but just like she didn't know the baggage that she was dragging that would eventually just explode on her. So I guess she didn't really know how to deal with that. I don't know how many.
But Alex was just a person, very unique.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure like Alana might have fallen for him because she thought he was him. It's like, I bet his dad is like a trillionaire in Dubai. He gets advanced Marvel movie screenings. We fly over there. It's like, oh no, honey, you're in it for an entirely different adventure that's going to explode on you in the worst way down the line.
And it very much did. So, recounting, like, I'm still just going through Alex's perspective. I can't really verify this. So after like the bouncer situation, he went to her house and allegedly knocked on her door. He went in, they almost had sex. Mom interrupted him. And from there, they're still like, I guess, talking, they're still kind of like mostly fine. Let's see where I'm getting to here. And then the whole sheep man thing happened, right? And then he flips out more. It gets a bit crazy. He blames you because he thinks you're sheep man, like GameDudeOfficial. Confronts her. Let's see. What's next? Oh yeah. And after that, the police intervene. Did he speak on the police to you?
Uh, I think he might have, or I think he did mention that he would buy her, like he would buy her the ring, or like he would like give it to her and then like, or just ask for the ring. Yeah, I think there was like sort of, oh, like forgive me, like I'm just not. There was so like in between like 2012 and 2013 that just see like, it was a slow, like there were portions where he said, where he like, yo, he would be waiting for me. So there'd be times that he claimed on his blog that they were very cordial. There was the one time where he says like, "Oh, I've got a girlfriend." So yeah,
alleged name.
Honestly, I didn't. I remember, Ian, I watched your doc yesterday, or like when he mentioned, it's like, well, it's like, oh, we should double date, and then I guess that sort of got pushed back because like, what was it? Alex said that he had a cold, and but he maybe he faked
she said it. Yeah, Alana said she had a cold.
Yeah, or maybe if I had to speculate again, because maybe like Alana asked her, it's like it came up in conversation because they shared a bunch of friends who ultimately just cut ties with Alex. I'm thinking, what if they were talking? It's like, apparently Alex has a new girlfriend, and the friends are like, what? If he has a girlfriend, we don't know, and we haven't seen her. It's like something out of a bad romantic comedy movie. If I had to get, that's my take on it, and I wouldn't be surprised if Alana's like, just I accidentally swallowed a booger. I'm sick now, Alex. Maybe the rain check.
So from there, right, the whole Sam thing, the whole, who knows if he really had this girlfriend informs Alana. The cops are already called, and this is becoming a bigger issue. So what happens next in Alex's story is he confronts her on campus, and the funny thing is like he twice, right? He pretty much follows this same like story, but only in this part he says his memory is foggy because he doesn't remember if he was hiding behind a tree, as to say that like he wasn't being creepy. He doesn't remember him being creepy. But this is where the that one picture in his blog comes up, the rendered one, and he confronts her on campus. He holds her crying, right, and she is just kind of frozen in place. Yeah.
It was like he like approached her, gave her a hug, like please or something. Like I do. It's coming back to me in little bits, but yeah, and like he would hang around at Bill. Like one time, it's back to me. He one time, like I think there was like a fence to Alana's building, kind of, or a gate that he like drunkenly tried. He jumped it, tried to climb over. It was just like that, and just so much fucking like camping outside, waiting. Like when she would approach, he was just standing like, "Oh hey, Lana, what's up? Oh hey." It's like, just he was doing that thing,
Oh, and they're like, so how this escalates, right, is after he meets her on campus, which he was saying like, oh, I don't know, like he knows her schedule. He states that, right? But he says it was just like you were saying. It's just like, oh, well, she was just there. I wasn't stalking her. I was just following her. But after that, he confronts her at her house again, and she is freaked out. So she threatens to call the police, and Alex snatches the phone out of her hands. And then Alana says, I won't call the cops. Just please give me my phone back, Alex. And she's just trying to get him to calm down. She gets the phone back and just calls her mom because, it's outside of their house. Her mom comes out and just like shoos Alex away, which is when the cops get involved again.
Right. Yeah. That was I forgot about that too. It's all coming back to me. That was goddamn holy shit. That there's so many ways that could have gone. He's snatching phones now. God damn it, Alex. Man, he doesn't know how lucky he is.
Not to mention posting her address online on the blog. Like
and her phone number. It's like he was giving that out to people.
Yeah, I remember him saying that.
Skype, yes.
Yeah, he was like saying that. He's like, oh well, she's giving it out to anybody anyway, based on the conversation I saw.
Fucking psycho.
The beauty of this is he still has his YouTube channel up. This is at this point, right? He makes a video about where he lip syncs Rick Astley and John Lennon. That's when that happened.
Yeah, around that time. And I remember his explanation was, I thought, maybe that would impress or win her back. And I'm like, What? Lip sync karaoke? Why? How? I don't know. I don't know. I still don't.
He said contradicting things about the reason why he made that video. Sometimes it's to, win her back. In the dinosaur video, he's like, "Oh, I was just Rickrolling her. It was kind of like a troll type of thing." Yes. So it's like, yeah, it's very contradictory, the reasons he gave.
The title was for Alana, I believe.
Yeah, for the Rick Astley one.
And people, and there was a screen cap, like someone sent Alana the video on Facebook. It's like, what the fuck is he doing?
Thumbnail artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, it continues to escalate. So, for my recollection, she asked him to take that video down afterwards. Right? And that's when his channel just disappeared. That channel was just gone.
Yeah.
Right? But as for the story, like, because for his second channel where he does the dinosaur video and such, he talks about another confrontation, and this time with a bus, because he knew her bus routes.
Right. Yeah. He detailed that in the blog plenty, and like all possible. It was it's like a weird.
His like argument was like, oh, I know her like schedule, so I went here specifically because I didn't think she would be there. It's like, you know how bad that makes you look.
And he says this like, well, I'm not taking the 7 bus. I'm taking the 41 bus. I'm sorry that our bus is at the same stop and we live close by, and I move close. Like maybe I could sort of believe that, but it's just
as someone who lives in Vancouver, and like I've been on that street many times, like the next bus stop is like 2 stops away. Like it wouldn't have been that big of a deal for him to like go to the next bus stop.
Right, yeah.
Right. And this confrontation is extremely important because this time and the diamond ring. So that builds up the timeline of him selling his games.
It does. Him selling his game collection, and I think even his truck. Like he told me that he got it for his truck that he sold for $1,000. And like he was more or less broke at that point in 2013, and he was like, I don't know. And they're just saying like, well, like Alex, what are you doing? And it's like, oh, it's just I don't know. I'm not motivated. It's like, dude, this shit sounds like this could reach critical, like it's just not in your favor. It seems like if she presses charges that like, just get a public defender, get a lawyer, because you've got no money coming in, and if you're just couch crashing for the time being, you're kind of fucked.
He also apparently cut off contact with his family, so it's not like he could have fell back on that. I mean, I guess he maybe could have, but. I mean,
yeah, he's still bitter. Yeah, it's like it was the same thing. He's like, they stole it from me. They stole it from me. And like, dude, you may not like it, but like they're there for you. They love you. And during this time, Alana was talking back and forth with Alex's mom, and Alex's mom like tried to reach out to him, and he just wouldn't have it, wouldn't fucking hear it. But she's trying, and she's like, yeah, and he. Oh, sorry, brain fog setting in again.
No, it's all good. So leading into that makes perfect sense because you say you sold his truck, he sold his video game collection for the diamond ring, and what happens right after is he doesn't have money, right? He's not talking to his parents, so this is possibly where the homelessness comes in. He's hanging out in Starbucks for free internet. He has a tent outside, but before he becomes homeless, he took 10 Advil to quote unquote and the nightmare.
Right. And the dose was like
it wasn't extreme.
Yeah, it wasn't extreme, and it wouldn't have mattered if he did an entire bottle, because I'm pretty sure Pharma does the math to make sure that wouldn't happen. If anything, it's gonna fuck up. It might have fucked up his liver. I don't know, but like you're not gonna OD on fucking Tylenol unless you were one of the people in the 1980s that got poisoned by the asbestos that was put in there.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I take 4 Advil tablets when I get a headache, so it's like it's not gonna like fuck you up that badly to take like twice that.
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say it might bloat his liver up a bit, or like scar his liver. So like Alex, enjoy that down the line.
Yeah, so things are getting to an extreme. Alex is homeless. He is still trying to find different ways to contact Alana, and something like different happens in the sense that Alana's mom is taking her route to see if Alex is there, and she finds Alex waiting for one Alana stops at the time she would be there and confronts him. And then, yeah.
God, I again, that's another one I forgot. I don't know why. For as much as I remember about a lot of this, God, I've forgotten a lot of. But yeah, that from what I remember, yeah, it's Alana's mom was like, or maybe or maybe she's always lived there. She always lived with Alana, or maybe it was part
Yeah,
time.
she lives with Alana.
Yeah, so she had a good support base around that time. That might be in the blog again. I've forgotten a lot of this, and I would have to just defer to the vlog, but yeah, it was always that sounds correct. It sounds like a standby thing.
And after that happens, the police talked to him again after he was waiting at that stop. And then the next day, again, the police talked to him. So that's like 2 days in a row, and no Alana yet. After that last, he confronts and gets mad, and from there he is arrested. He spends his time in jail where he meets a Chinese man and gives him an apple, as he states. And now he has a court date.
Yeah, and that thereafter is when he hopped on Skype. I remember, and I was in like 2-3 calls with him that month for a year, and then 2014 rolls around, and a lot could happen in that videos where he's at the cops. I do have one of those where he's asking for badge numbers of one of the officers.
Oh, yeah, that one.
So he's hitting the cops more and more around here, and this is where I believe you remember Game Dude's mom comes into play, because with the court date happening, Alana contacts the Game Dude's mom as well. Let's see. And then he... Okay. Oh, yeah, and then he tells this weird story about, like, where in 2012, right? Alana followed him on the train, and she was crying over him. Like, there's some issue going on mid-relationship, and then she was trying to patch things up way back then. And he constantly uses this as an example of her stalking him. If you remember any of that.
Oh, yeah, that rings a bell a little bit. That's it doesn't surprise me that if that's something that he cites, and it's like, oh well, if he tries to say if he tries to say like she was an evil woman, or tried to like get her hooks back in him for like sympathy, but he just mistakes it, or maybe there's a part of him that thinks that part of Alana, the passionate side, that comes to him to be able to come to him, and like, oh, you're like, Alex, please, I'm just going through something, but no, that's like, but in his reality distortion field mixes that up, and he gets it twisted. I forgot about so much, but it makes sense, at least in Alex's mind, that would stick out. He says, like, there's part of Alana that still loves me. She came to me in a dark time.
Even though I think that was like happening, like not like that was before they hit the bumpy road in their relationship, which is not the same thing.
And at this point in the dinosaur video, he starts to lose a bit of like, I guess, traction to the story. He starts like rambling, hate is love. He starts screaming at the crows. He mentions getting pierced by a giant Final Fantasy sword in his heart. And then he talks about how Alana was his first love and kiss. And Alex wants to cry every day. Also, let's see. Oh, Alana told Game Dude to tell GameDudeOfficial to take everything down.
Oh, okay, yeah. He like, those are some of the, those are some of, like, the one I linked, and the one from that video. Game Dude accuses me of ruining his life, and the one I uploaded on GoFile half an hour ago, the June 7th and June 8th. Those are I think those probably line up. Those are probably the messages that where he's like, take those videos down. That was probably the action too.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And now we're getting like to the end of that video. Right now it's like 1 minute 47 seconds in. Oh no, I'm sorry, 1 hour 47 minutes. And he says his friends were like leaving him, and he was living in a hell that is the end. He was talking to people through Skype and his story and the trolls. And he was also talking about Alana, and he is glad let's see. Oh, no, okay. You might have been in this call. He says that during one of these calls, he got a visit from the police, and that's when they returned that ring. It was the police that returned that ring.
I would have remembered that. I probably quarter on it. If I was in that call, I would have remembered that more than anything. I would have marked it. It's like, absolute keep this, like, in parentheses, holy shit, he gets arrested in this one or something like that. I would have marked it differently, but I don't know. Unless it was the call where he added like everyone on his Skype contacts list to one big call and everyone was in there because he wanted to like gather Ithacans, lend me your ears and let me tell you about Al the Great.
And something that is just bizarre beyond like even for Game Dude that I do not understand is he says he sent Justin Bieber over to serenade her. Like I have no idea what that means.
That's in the blog. I was looking through the blog last night and I saw a mention of Justin Bieber. I'm like, what the fuck what the fuck does this mean? I don't know.
I think Alana was a fan of Justin Bieber or something, because I do remember him bringing this up, and he's just like, "Hey, Justin Bieber's my best friend, baby," and it's like, I think that was something that he was trying to say to impress Alana. I don't know why he thought it would work,
or that it would garner another audience with her.
No, but he states that he sent Justin Bieber to serenade like in person. It wasn't like he states that's something that like she actually met him. You know what I mean?
That's weird. That's fucking weird.
Which was when she tells, through Game Dude saying this, Justin Bieber to tell Alex to leave him alone.
Did he maybe find like a YouTube account that was pretending to be Justin Bieber and he thought it was the real thing?
Oh my, that's fucking what? Oh man, I would love to. Like, that's the thing. I never really had a lot of co-action. Like I never interacted or I never edited Alex's encyclopedia page. I just stuck to GameDudeOfficial, and I didn't really. I know a few people from who I'm still friends with to this day. They ran like the Alex some like troll channels, and it wasn't until like 3 or 5 years later, still friends with them today. It's like, wait, you're GameDudeOfficial? I'm like, yeah. It's like, yo, me and and me on the original Medicare forum from way back when. Yeah, we used to mess with Game Dude a lot. And like, yo, no way. I would have fucking hit you guys up, but we could have made headlines with this guy.
I guess you are now. It's like all retrospective, but it's happening.
For the beach video, can I get your confirmation that confirmation that you didn't edit those?
I didn't edit those. No, like the 4 videos that I have that you'll see in like the 7 or 8 gig folder that I'll upload for you guys. Those were just like edited. I don't know if it was it was like 4 separate videos. So the only thing I did was retitle them, Matei Confessions parts 1 through 4. So
and I can confirm when they were on Alex's channel, they were the exact same. So yeah,
he purposely kept all those people like passing by, the shouting at crows, the throwing of the coconut, his can getting stolen by a stranger because he probably thought it was trash. There was just so much happening that Alex kept in there for like God knows why.
Yeah, it's very telling of his character. And one thing I noticed last night, and especially now, the crows. This like all the It's just I don't know. It just seems like an omen. There's always crows where the fuck he is. He's telling the crows to shut up. He's filming them that they're like through a fence. I guess a train station, was it?
Yeah.
He takes a crow to the vet to hope it.
Yeah, you have that vet video where he takes it to the vet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's so fucking weird. I mean, is Randall Flagg gonna pop out and Captain Tripp's gonna kill the entire fucking world? What is it with the crows in Game Dude? This is just.
If there's something I don't know, very Alfred Hitchcocky about that, and it's like,
yeah, maybe it's Odin and his crows. Who knows? Yeah. Right? Also interested in Game Dude. But yeah, like I guess like to close, this is just from your experience because this is where it just trails off, and the whole is about like Game Dude and going to Mexico. It was just a 2-week vacation.
I think it was a 2-week vacation. He mentioned it in the blog and the emails that he copied and that he showed that he sent to lines. Like, I went to Mexico, baby. So we do know he went to Vegas, he went to Mexico, he went to California, he went to Disneyland. And the other places that he mentioned, which also mentioned like I came up with that crude MS Paint drawing, like where in the world is Game Dude in Medicare's Internet Insanity and video on him. And and just the potential mention, like there's a reason why like there's the cork board, it goes like straight to China, because that's only why I put it there. He's like, because there was so many potentials he wanted to go to. Who knows if he actually went? Like he said, he wanted to go to Egypt. There's unrest happening. He wanted to go to China, where there were the civil protest or the student protests going on. And then of course there was the one where he said, like, what if we go to South Africa? It's like, don't go there because Alana's charges are impending. So if you fucking flee, you're fucked, dude. You don't want to do that. So, but from what we know, yeah, he kind of just kept it to the North American continent. And,
right, and there was no reason to flee because, as you were saying, Alana ran out screaming during the court case before he got to give his piece, which was the case.
Yeah, like you couldn't ask for less better closure to the situation, for as fucked as the things that came before it and led up to it. I mean, it's honestly he got it's a raw deal. I hope he's good where he's at now, because it could have gone so goddamn wrong. I mean, there were a few times where it seems like, there was always one part egging at his brain, like, well, what if I do want to go to trial jury? If you go to a trial, if plead not guilty and go to a jury trial, they will freaking, I don't know if maybe he'll get thrown in jail or maybe down to community service, but for better or for worse, or for all involved, it's best it, I guess, ended the way he did. And I don't think, maybe he realizes how much of a raw deal he got. I mean, he made that video supposedly. He was like, this is a story to a lot of the kids. And he was just so sad because he couldn't defend himself. I'm like, dude, take this win. Take this would-be win,
Yeah. So, was his last video the Game Dude is leaving Skype, the text one?
I don't think that. I don't know if
was that something that was just something you made, because at the end there's a screen cap of Alana, and it says 10 reasons why you should dump your boyfriend or something like that.
That one I put together myself. That was
yours.
that was a pair. The song I think I used for that was the theme Lucky Louie back when, and I didn't know that shower is 10 reasons you want to dump your boyfriend. I don't know if that was. I thought that was real. I was before. That was before 2012, or from what I recall.
I remember I used to have Alex on Facebook, and I can confirm a lot of this stuff actually did happen on Alana's Facebook and everything. So I would see her activity through him.
Yeah.
What was his video?
Oh. Honestly,
the last one I remember him uploading was him on a beach again filming seagulls, and that looked like it was probably California. Because it was not Vancouver.
Al the Great in California, maybe? It's actually pretty last, because he's looking, just a few people surfing, just a few people boogie boarding, and fitting end,
Yeah, I assume he's with his parents now. He's got the diamond ring back, probably pawned off for money, and just something to get away, just something to reset himself from Alana.
And oh my god, all these videos! I'm looking at I downloaded these all on the Al the Great video final, which also include the GameSpot sucks and Subway sucks.
Oh yes, you have Subway sucks. I love that one.
The Kongs, all these actually, they all say modified May 24th. So I probably downloaded them all the same day. So May 24th was probably the last we ever heard of them. Which order they came in, I don't know. You know what? I'll do some further look. I'll get into GameDudeOfficial, and I'll see if I have those, because I remember privating a lot of the upgrades. So, and I would re-upload them as soon as I download it. So that maybe that might narrow it down, maybe a few days earlier or later.
Great, yeah, thank you. Also, when was the last time you spoke to him? If you remember, you don't have to give me a specific date, but just how was the conversation, in the timeline?
Well, I think the very last time I guess I remotely spoke to him was that one call I keep mentioning, where he added so many people, everyone on his Skype, into one big call. That was technically the last time, but the one before that was probably way earlier in 2014, where it was just all was said and done. I think that I want to say the trial had just finished, but I can't be sure. I'd have to do some more diving for that to see if I could find it.
I can only imagine what Alex would do now that streaming is a thing on YouTube. He'd probably just be doing that instead of going on Skype.
Probably. It would be way worse. And you know what? Yeah. Thank God this all happened to him when it did, because like it's seeing the nightmare horrorscape that this could befall today's generation of aspiring content creators. It's worse now. I couldn't imagine a worser hell. But you know, like if you thought like, I used to think like '90s tabloid stuff in Hollywood and fame were terrible. Oh, it got so much worse. And the same could be said for internet content creators. You know, some people got out while the getting is good, for better or for worse.
And yeah, just like one last question is, what's the last you heard of him? Right.
I don't think I have. I think, and maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the last we heard, he's off and gone. There was a, like every now and then I would type in Alexander 448 somewhere, and I remember I was brought to like I think a DeviantArt profile that I later was like, wait, it's like, what if the game dude came back? But then above it said, it's like, oh, it's hypothetical. I'm just assuming a character. I'm like, God, wouldn't that be something if like Alex like was actually like, you know, penning massive blog entries for years now, but no one noticed. And then I was wondering what Alana was up to, and I look and I saw the video, and there she is. Like, you know, she's a fantasy author, right? Fantasy author now, and so
I bought 2 of her books. I still haven't read them.
Yeah, I did a cursory glance of all the reviews. Like, they're mostly good. You know, who knows?
So yeah, that's it. That's where the story, pretty much as far as we can confirm it, is just done. You know, Alex goes on vacation, and whenever he potentially comes back, there is nothing, just mystery. And probably, like as you were saying, that's like the best way to close it, is just being offline.
Yeah, there was nothing for him to come back to online, so he leaves it all behind.
Which, I guess that means he like learned something from all this.
I think that pretty much just covers everything. That was quite lengthy. Thank you for your time. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much. I'm glad I got to share this with both of you, and I apologize. Like I do have a tendency to babble, so I'm sorry if I babbled. Because I know you laid out like the timeline, and I was my way through it, and normally like I just like, but later on something will pop up in memory, like, oh yeah, this happened there too. But I hope I kept it to a minimum. So.
Oh no, I prefer like when, because I mean like the way like I tell stories, or at least think about them, like I am the same way too. Like, you know, suddenly like a thought will hit me, and I want to explain it before it goes away. So I understand that completely. I prefer it to be that way instead of you just ignoring that thought.
Also, considering so much of what happened with Alex, I think you probably still condensed it within these 2.5 hours.
Yeah, like, and even then, I feel like there's like even as unabridged as we've been in this deep dive, I feel like there's still always goddamn more. I mean, like I hope you guys have fun reading through that blog, because I feel like, because Ian, it's like you said in like your in one of the videos, there's like three different perspectives that he comes out, and I feel like the blog is even though it's just retreading territory, him telling it all, it does sort of paint a time. I really wish he had the ability to list dates when every single little thing fucking happened, because that would help like profile better. But I guess it works better without
between the blog and the message to Alana video. I think that pretty much covers everything we need to. I mean, I think there was like people did interview him. Maybe if people have the Skype calls recorded, but I don't know. I think we still have about as complete of a picture as we need on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you again. Like this is just such a tremendous help, especially with the archives. You know what I mean? And definitely surprising to know that like you are also GameDudeOfficial, because I was like, man, I want to track the person down because they must know so much.
Yeah, I had no idea you were GameDudeOfficial. I was so.
Yeah, that's I like the fact that like only like a dozen people really knew, and like would just, you know what, it's like tell the tale of Game Dude once again to remind, and like, you know what, maybe it's time for me to just be just to you know, I'm GameDudeOfficial, and this is like what I know and don't, and like my part of the story in this, and I crafted it, I guess, in sort of a minor slight way. I'm glad that I got to be a part of Game Dude history, if not like as just being a dopey troll.
Oh yeah, so the video is slated to come out in December. It's much lengthier than I really imagined it would be, just because there's just so much to uncover, like you were saying, right? That's when I'm hoping to release it, and I'm planning to add like segments of these calls, because you know it's really helpful that you had conversations and an understanding of Alexander as he was progressing into his, like, I guess, more stocky phases.
Right, yeah.
But Yeah, if there's anything else, if you have any questions or anything right now before we close out.
I think that's about it. If I can think of anything else or anything comes up, I'll let you know, and I'll shoot you a link to anything I may have missed if I find anything else.
All right, that sounds good. I think I'm gonna go eat something, and wow, this was a very productive call. Thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
thank
Again, I'm a big fan. I love both your guys' stuff, and I can't wait to see the video. To see, yeah, it's a Game Dude Christmas miracle, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
Sure. I'll send you guys a link whenever I have it up.
Yeah, for sure.
Sweet. Absolutely.
Right.
I'll be front and center, first row. Thank you so much, guys.
I'll catch you guys later.
All right,
Have
take
a
it
good
easy.
one.